welcome along to Inside Sport. We have got a rugby special tonight. Ireland taking on France in Paris, and 3 Irish rugby internationals here to join me for the evening. Fiona Coughlin, Lindsay Peat and Devon Toner. Lindsay, how are we feeling about this one?
Oh, I'd say we're a bit nervous now with the changes, and our strongest team isn't available to us. But look, I say here as an example of someone who took advantage of an injury, and that's how I got into an Irish jersey. So I'm hoping that's the case for the front row as they come in. There's been a lot of talk about experience missing, but look, I'd rather be in Paris playing in a green jersey. So I'm hoping the lads step up now and give us a performance.
It's a hard place to go, Devon, at the best of times, but this does feel like quite the challenge for Ireland.
Oh, absolutely. It's a really hard place to go. Obviously, the crowd get into it a lot, but the best place to be is to be the underdog. Everyone's writing them off, no one's giving them a chance. So I think the platform is set for some young lads to put their hand up, really.
Yeah, and that is the case, Fiona. This is about seizing the opportunity. There is nobody giving them a chance here.
Yeah, I think anytime you go away to France, you're rarely going to be favourites. Such is the French team in the last couple of years. But Ireland, I suppose, in Marseille 2 years ago did it after a poor falling out of the World Cup. I know it's back in Stade de France and they haven't won there since 2018. But huge opportunity for a number of players. Being the underdog, as Devon said, I think it's good for Ireland. I don't think this is imposing pack from France as we've seen before. They've gone with very mobile second row and probably smaller props than they could have, but there is opportunities there. And I think before, Andy Farrell has always spoken about adversity and taking advantage of adversity, and with the injury toll that they've had, they certainly had that adversity in the last couple of weeks.
Well, he's getting everything that he wants then, if that's what he is shouting for. There's cautious optimism in the air about if Ireland were to stay with them. Are any of you tipping Ireland to get a victory here?
Yeah, I'm going to put my hand up. Look, I'm not going to lie, it could go either way. We could be on the back of an absolute hiding. Fiona's alluded to there, they're going for a smaller pack, which means they're going to try and run us off the park. They're going to try and kick the ball across field. And, there was questions asked about the defence and the defensive setup. So they're going to try and target us out wide and maybe some high balls to obviously welcome Jacob Stockdale back. But I think if Ireland can use their physicality and move the ball and get back into that rhythm that we've seen them play previously, we can give this French team a run. But we can't let France get into this game. So we need to start physical and really get into their heads from the off. And if we do that, that's a petulant France team, and then the crowd go against France. So let's see how it goes.
Look, if we're still in it at 60 minutes, I think there's every chance that we can go ahead and do it. But it's just all about, for me, it's the discipline as well, not giving away stupid penalties and not giving away sloppy balls. Do you mean the best thing that this France backline can do is capitalise on our mistakes? So we've got to minimise the mistakes and just keep disciplined.
Sounds simple if we can do it. All right, we are ready to rock in Paris. Let's hand you to our commentary team, Donal Lenihan and Michael Corcoran.
Jackie, thanks indeed, and welcome along to the Stade de France. It's the 8th largest stadium in Europe, and tonight, well, the capacity certainly is tested here as the rain begins to fall here. Not that heavily, to be perfectly fair about it, but it is Ireland who will play from left to right in the opening half of this game. A capacity of 80,698 people. The match referee is Carl Dixon from England, and Ireland's Sam Prendergast standing on the halfway line as he will get this match underway. His brother Cian is hugging the touchline on this near side of the pitch here, and it's Ireland in their familiar green shirts, France in their traditional blue and white shorts, and they win that ball from the kick-off there, and it is taken inside the 22 metre line, the France one. Antoine Dupont, the team captain, looks to try to gather that one there, and will take control of it here now. 15 in from the touchline on the near side of the pitch, and he's already after smashing that into touch on the near side. The drizzle coming down pretty heavily, Donal Lenihan here, and I was about to sarcastically say France with no degree of sort of enthusiasm for trying to run the ball in the first minute of this match.
Well, I was down pitch side about an hour before the game. Pitch is in immaculate condition. It is a bit damp, but it rains in France quite a lot as well, so they're used to that.
Well, Ireland have won the ball in the line-up, well taken there, and then move it across to the centre of the field of play. Jamison Gibson Park looks to try and gather that one. Jamison Gibson Park is gathering that one, kicks it up in the air. Good work there by Josh van der Fleer as well. Good hang time on that ball. Louis Biel-Berry tried to gather that one. But it is France who have control of it here. Back with Antoine Dupont standing outside his own 22-metre line, and they try and come forward with this one here now. And it's good strong work there by the French as they try to bring it to the outskirts of their own 22-metre line. Dupont looks to gather this one. By my understanding, it's his third time catching the ball, and he's kicked it for the third time. It goes up in the air across on that far side of the field of play. The ball is tapped back in, and it's France who have it now, and they come on the counter-attack, and this is where they're absolutely lethal. Yura Moefana moves it back towards Biel Barré, kicks it there behind the Irish defence, goes chasing after that one, kicks it through, and he goes through. Charles Olivon looks to try and gather the ball, and would you believe Charles Olivon has knocked it on just as he was about to catch it, and there was a huge sense of anticipation here within the opening 2 minutes. Ireland cut apart out wide as the ball was hacked through. Louis Biel-Barré went chasing up after that one. It was flicked through there for Charles Olivon, and the former Bayonne, now Toulon player, as he went to gather the ball, knocked it on, and it's got to be a scrum. The scrum will be for Ireland 5 metres short of their own line.
Yeah, that's the game in a nutshell. It's who wins those high-hanging kicks, and it was second or Gouya just tapping it back on his side. Biel-Barré outstanding in those positions, but he chipped ahead. Olivon couldn't hold it, but what it means, opening scrum of the game is an Ireland one, which means that France can put all their energy into putting as much pressure on that Irish front row as possible. So much talk about the scrum in advance of the game. Dan Sheehan just having a quick word with Jeremy Loughman on one side, and of course Thomas Clarkson. What Loughman is going to come under big pressure here from Aldegheri. This a huge moment in the game, and we're only 3 minutes in.
Jean-Baptiste Gros, Julien Marchand, Dorian Aldegheri in the front row there for France, and they'll certainly try and put the squeeze on Ireland here. 5 metres short of the line, 7 in from the touchline on the near side of the pitch. As Jamison Gibson Park now with the scrum feed gets it in. Solid enough all effort there from an Ireland point of view. Referee's whistle has gone, and the referee has asked that the scrum be retaken. That's a decent enough all effort there, as both teams kind of trying to get to know each other there. Thomas Clarkson gets up off the ground there. He was under pressure there from Jean-Baptiste Gros. Toulon against Leinster. That was the situation on that occasion, and the referee, well, just allowing both teams to scrum, and I suppose they're just kind of trying to feel each other out with 3.5 minutes gone.
Yeah, but promising for Ireland. France looked to put the pressure on. Loughman did really well there against Aldegheri, just pinned him down low. In fact, Keelan Doris at the back of the scrum managed to get a couple of inches forward, but because both front rows hit the ground together, referee decides to have a reset, so it's going to happen all over again.
Here is Jamison Gibson Park with the scrum for Ireland now, 5 metres short of his own line. He's about 12 in for the touchline, near side of the pitch. Ireland now with huge emphasis there, putting pressure on France as that ball has come out, and it's kicked down the field of play there by Jamison Gibson Park, gone towards Thomas Rameau, the full back there. He comes on the counter-attack now, and he looks to try and bring it there towards his own 10-metre line, and the ball is swept out. It's really good work there by Nicolas Duportaire, carried it over the halfway line and the 10-metre line, swept in towards Jalibert, and it's intercepted there now, and well taken by an Irish pair of hands just shy of the 10-metre line. That's their own one, and it's gone back here now towards Jamison Gibson Park. Moves it now to Sam Prendergast, kicks it up in the air. Louis Biel-Barré goes chasing back to gather that. He has it inside his own 22-metre line, turns, kicks and strikes it towards the touchline on the near side of the pitch, where it's kept in there by Jamison Gibson Park. Moves it in now to Jamie Osborne. Osborne gathers that one now. Good kick from him inside, and it bounces and goes into touch, and that's a 50-22. That is a terrific kick there by Jamie Osborne from inside his own 10-metre line, and the ball has gone into touch, and it'll be a line-out throw for Ireland well inside that France 22.
Yeah, what a kick, Jamie Osborne. He hasn't played a game since last November, but that kick with all of 70 metres. Deportier was complaining that it wasn't a 52, but it was absolutely on the money. So really good start from Ireland. Scrum rock solid early on. France in broken play electric, but Ireland now first chance in the opposition 22.
Dan Sheehan with the line-out throw, fires it towards the tail end of the line-out. Well taken by Tyg Byrne. Josh van der Fleer to the middle of the field of play, swept out here. Sam Prendergast gathers that one now. He's not held on the tackle as he goes forward there inside the 22-metre line. Referee has blown the whistle, and Ireland have knocked it on, and they're beginning to find holes in that French defence there on that occasion. It was certainly wide enough there for Sam Prendergast to break it through, but unfortunately Ireland have lost control of the ball, and it's going to be a scrum. The scrum will be for France now, but it's only 7 metres short of their own line. Scoreless after 6 minutes.
Yeah, good set play, first line out of the game. Ireland played a bit of a dummy move in terms of winning the ball. They looked as if they were going to set up a drive, but Josh van der Fleer played it off. Good loop from Sam Prendergast, and but for the loose pass, and bear in mind it is drizzling here in the Stade de France. Knock on from Ireland, but a decent opening. This time it's France who feed the scrum, so it gives Ireland an opportunity to maybe have a little go off them.
Antoine Dupont with the scrum feed inside his own 22 metre line. 6.5 minutes gone. Scoreless so far. The opening game of season 27 of the Six Nations Championship. Every single Irish game since the very beginning live here on RTE Radio 1. And here is Dupont now with the scrum feed as the referee, well, he's blown the whistle there. And he's asked that both lots of front row forwards get their act together, for want of a better phrase there. And Thomas Clarkson just kind of nodding his head there at the match referee. And it's interesting that both teams want to maintain their discipline and stay on the right side of the referee in the early stages of this game here. 7 minutes gone, a slow build up to the match, and they've already started a Mexican wave on that far side of the field of play here. And here's Antoine Dupont with the scrum feed now for France inside the 22 metre line. France playing right to left, opening half of this game. Does look as if the drizzle isn't falling as heavily as it was, as he's gone on towards the feet there now of Anthony Jalonche to get at that one, sweeps it away to his right hand side, and from inside the 22 metre line it's kicked, not found touch, and it's back here now with Jamie Osborne. Comes forward with this one, goes on the counter attack, brings play towards the halfway line. Jamison Gibson Park into the middle of the field of play, back there now with Tadhg Beirne, got their legs cut from underneath him, but he still managed to go forward with that one and bring it towards the halfway line. Back at Jamison Gibson Park, kicks it up in the air. Stuart McCluskey goes chasing up after that one, eyes on the ball, it bounces back, and it is taken there by Charles Olivon for France, midway between his own 22 and the 10 metre line. 17 in for the touchline across on the far side of the pitch as France come forward with that one and try and bring it towards their own 10 metre line. Back with Antoine Dupont. Dupont gets the kick now, swivels and thumps it up in the air, and taking that across far side is Jamie Osborne, sweeps it in towards Sam Prendergast. Sam Prendergast now with the crossfield kick. Tommy O'Brien goes chasing up after that one for the halfway line, kicks it and goes chasing around Thomas Ramos inside the 22 metre line. Ramos falls on the ground as he gathers the ball inside his own 22 metre line. Ireland piling on top of him, and France doing their level best to try and get the ball back here, and they have done so inside the 22 metre line, their own one, but Ireland putting a lot of pressure on them here, and France, well, they've been trapped back inside their own 22 metre line. They have it now 5 metres short of their own line. 17 in for the touchline on this near side of the pitch here now, and it's back here now with Antoine Dupont, and Dupont again boots this one, and it is gone into touch. And Sam Prendergast, well, he was looking at the ball dropping towards him, thought about taking it pretty quickly, and then decided not to, because one of the French players was gone chasing up. Nicolas Dupotet was chasing up there to kind of close down the gap, and it is going to be a line-out throw. The line-out throw will be for Ireland a couple of metres inside the France half of the pitch on this near side.
Yeah, and despite all the negativity coming into the game, it's been a really confident start from Ireland. They're not afraid to have a go. Jamie Osborne has fielded 2 or 3 kicks, brilliant attacking kick out of him as well, so huge amount of positives from an Ireland point of view.
Yeah, Cian Prendergast wins that ball on the line out. It's come back, Caelan Doris took the pass there from Josh van der Fleer, short of the 10 metre line. They thump it up in the air. Louis Berrier underneath that one, as Tommy O'Brien and himself involved in a kind of grappling match there. Referee's whistle has gone, and he has said that Louis Berrier had called for the mark inside the 22 metre line, but I'll tell you what, Tommy O'Brien was fingertips away from trying to gather that one back there. And a chance here now for France from inside their own 22 metre line as Biel Berrier gets the kick and he thumps it into touch on this near side of the pitch. And certainly Ireland are taking France out of their comfort zone, aren't they, in the opening 10 minutes of this one?
Yeah, they certainly are. Their kicking game has been good. I mean, Ireland's best performance during November was against Australia. They kicked the ball 45 times in that game, but the danger with France, if you kick too deep and you're not competing for the ball, such as their transition into attack, they're absolutely superb. We got a smell of it already by BLBRA, and only for a knock on by Olivon, they might well have scored.
Yeah, Tadhg Beirne wins that ball in the line out. Josh van der Fleer into Jamison Gibson Park, into the middle of the field of play, taken by Gary Ringrose. Try to bring play towards the halfway line. Seemed like a high enough challenge on him, back towards Dan Sheehan. Carries it over the halfway line, across on that far side, and Jamison Gibson Park getting those behind him organised, including Tom Clarkson and Lockman. The ball is kicked up in the air, and they go chasing up after that one and look to try and get it across on that far side. And France have got it, but they're under a bit of pressure now because they've been driven all the way back inside their own 22-metre line. Across on that far side, Antoine Dupont moves it into the middle of the field of play, and France try and build now from well inside their own 22. With 11 minutes gone, it is scoreless so far. That ball is kicked clear, and now gathered as it was skating up off the greasy surface inside the 10-metre line. And Jemison Gibson Park now with control of it there and moves it out the back door to Sam Prendergast. Tried to give it back there to Tadhg Byrne. He's lost control of it, and France, with the ball, is kicked through, and Jamie Osborne goes back to try and gather that one now from inside his own 22-metre line. Gets the kick away, doesn't find touch, and it's France now through Dupont coming the counter-attack there now as he tries to evade the challenge. Broad play inside Ireland half of the pitch there, and it is France now who look to try and take control of this one now. Swept into the middle of the field of play, and again it's France. Good strong carry as Jeremy Lockman smashes the ball carrier there. That is Michael Guillard. They try to bring play towards the halfway line. It's gone back here, and France have it now quick hands, and the ball is moved towards the halfway line. 7 in from the touchline. Across on the far side of the pitch now, France playing right to left in the opening half of this game at the wonderful Stade de France in the northern suburbs of Paris. Mathieu Jalibert with the kick thumps it away. Prendergast has to go chasing back to try and gather that one, and Prendergast gathers this one now and hacks it clear. And the ball is then, would you believe, it didn't go into touch. It's taken by Deportier, moves it out on the near side of the pitch, back towards Yoram Moefana. Moefana in towards Biel Beret. Beret is hand tripped there as he goes inside the 22-metre line, charging for the corner. He's gone in for the try. It's a try for France, and that has come after 12 minutes of the game. After that kick from Sam Prendergast, you can understand what he was trying to do. The ball didn't go into touch, and it was taken initially by Nicolas Deportier, and that's where France are absolutely lethal. Transition is the word, try is the name of it, and the scorer is Louis Biel-Beret, and the place has erupted. 13 minutes gone.
Yeah, well, I just mentioned it, didn't I? If you kick loose to this crowd, I think Sam Prendergast would have been better off leaving the ball go into touch. He drew on it, and Deportier kept it alive, but Biel-Beret is just pure magic. Hit the ground twice, got back on his feet, beat 2 tacklers, and it's written all over him. We saw how powerful he was under the high ball. He's not the biggest man in the world, but he's so good in the air. But his ability to finish half chances, to mind big chances, he's shown it again. What a try from France.
And here's Thomas Rameau with the conversion opportunity outside the 22. 13 in for the touchline, near side of the pitch, and he's launched. That one has gone straight between the posts. Gus Gardner and Jordan Way, the assistant referees from the Southern Hemisphere, who head back home tomorrow to referee in Super Rugby next weekend, have lifted their flags aloft, and it is Thomas Ramos who has landed the conversion. And certainly you had a scenario where Ireland had a lot of possession in the opening half of this game so far, but it is France who've got the important thing, and that is a try. They have landed the conversion, and they're ahead by 7 points tonight.
Yeah, well, Ireland have competed well. They've done well in the set piece, but again, we're saying it already, 14 minutes into the game, you just cannot kick loosely to their back three.
Sam Prendergast with the restart, taken there now by Guillard as he tried to bring it now towards his own 22-metre line. 13 in for the touchline on the near side of the pitch here. Antoine Dupont looks to try and gather this one here now for France inside their own 22. Swivels backwards is such his kicking style that he has there as Tommy O'Brien is underneath that. And Tommy O'Brien, well, he didn't catch it cleanly the first time, and then when he landed on the ground, he's been driven back. And France try and pile through. Referee's whistle has gone. Ireland penalised, not releasing, and it is going to be a penalty. The penalty will be for France. And the one thing that Ireland cannot afford to do, Donald, having gone 7 points and 0 down, is kind of drop their chin and allow France back in for another score. That was really good work by Charles Alibon on that occasion.
Yeah, it certainly was, but what you're talking about, Michael, is just compounding mistake with another mistake. Tommy O'Brien was put under incredible pressure. Huge hit went in from Francois Cross. The counter ruck from France, superb. In the end, Tommy O'Brien didn't release the ball, so it's a line out now for France. Bang on the Ireland 22. Their line-out maul is superb. Their line-out in general, 97% last season, the best in the world.
Yeah, well, they've won the line-out there on that occasion. It was good work by Oscar Jégou. They try to drive Ireland back now towards the 22. France ahead by 7 points in it. Louis Biel-Beret with the early try. Here comes Antoine Dupont in there to the centre of the field of play. Yoram Moefana gathers that one now, but he's been smashed onto the ground. It's good defence from an Ireland point of view, but it involves bodies, and that means that there's going to be a gap somewhere else, as Antoine Dupont has a look up there to see as Biel Beret is calling for the ball, but it's gone away across towards Anthony Jelonche, try to bring play towards the Ireland 22 metre line into the far side of the pitch. Good work there on that occasion by Jean-Baptiste Gros, try to bring it to the Ireland 22. Jego at the back door, and all of a sudden France look as if they have additional numbers now on this near side of the pitch here. Good work by Nicolas Depoter, try to bring it towards the Ireland 22 metre line. Swept in field here now. Good interplay there between the two Toulouse players, Thomas Ramos and Antoine Dupont, the captain. France still in possession as they try and find a way through the Irish defence. They've certainly found a way here as they look to try and bring it there towards the 22 metre line. Referee's whistle has gone, and the referee has called play back. He said that the ball was knocked on by an Irish player, and it is going to be a scrum. The scrum will be to France on the 22 metre line. There's a bit of kind of franticness attached to Ireland since that try was scored.
Yeah, certainly is. But on the other hand, I think momentum is just building within France. Ramos and Dupont know each other so well from playing together with Toulouse. They almost got in each other's way, but in the end they set up a super drive there by Jego. Thomas Clarkson, his knee is on the ground. He has to release the ball. He doesn't do so, but he gets away with it in that the referee saw a knock on beforehand, so it's a scrum to France. Yeah, very good position, bang on the 22, but there's about 14 water boys on the field, and he's not having it, is he?
Yeah, I see Alec Walters and John Fogarty there, William Servat, the former Toulouse and French hooker, out there as well, and the referee's blown the whistle, told them all get off the pitch, and it is going to be a scrum. The scrum will be for France now. They lead by 7 points to nil with 16 and a half, almost 17 minutes gone here at Stade de France. And it is Antoine Dupont with the scrum feed now on the 22 metre line. 17 in for the touchline on the near side of the pitch as plans. France play from right to left in the opening half of this game. Louis Biel Beret is standing directly behind where that France scrum is. Mathieu Jalibert is there also. Referee's whistle has gone, and the scrum has gone down on this near side, and that is the side of the pitch with Thomas Clarkson and Jean-Baptiste Gros. And I always kind of smile to myself there when I see the two fellas on this side getting up off the ground, and both of them looking across towards the assistant referee, who is Angus Gardner, on this near side of the pitch there. As much as say, did you see what that fellow was trying to do there? And it never works, does it?
No, it doesn't. But off the ball, interesting conversation happening between Dupont, as you mentioned. Biel Beret is standing right behind Jelonche, their number 8. Mathieu Jalibert, of course, who plays with him in Bordeaux, he is standing side by side. Biel Beret creates havoc in any defensive side. They've rehearsed something. There's something coming off this. Biel Beret, as I said, 8 tries in last year's championship, 1 already, and we're only 18 minutes into it.
Well, the ball has gone to Jalibert into the middle of the field of play, and they tried to gather that one, as it was well read from an Ireland point of view there, and hacked clear as France looked to gather that one there across on that far side. That's a good recovery from an Ireland point of view there, and it was good pressure being put on France there on that occasion by the Ireland scrum half, Jameson Gibson Park, and they lost the ball, but that took the sting out of what they were trying to do.
Yeah, but also think, Michael, good work in the analysis before the game. France were trying to get an opportunity to do a loop play with Biel Beret and Jalibert. It did happen, but I think it was Gary Ringrose had read it. He managed to get a hand in. That broke down the play, and as a result, I think we have another scrum here. Good defence from Ireland, but that French backline, any space at all available on the field, they seem to know where it is. They seem to know where to find it. It's a line out, actually. The ball has gone into touch on the far side, but again, good opportunity here.
Yeah, Julien Marchand throws it into the front of the line out there, and he's taken the return, so to speak. 5 in from the touchline. Referee's whistle has gone. Ireland penalised. France take the penalty pretty quickly. They tap and go and decide to move that one, and Ireland weren't set, but Ireland don't need to be to get the sort of referee's permission, as France have it now, and they try and bring it now through Marchand towards the 22 metre line. Dupont, as they keep it alive here. The ball swept out, and France have it now inside the Ireland 22. 17 in for the touchline. Near side of the pitch, back with Oscar Jego. He's upright. They run straight at Sam Prendergast. Ireland pile in to try and gather the ball back, but France have it now well inside the 22 metre line. France have it well inside the Ireland 22 on this near side. 17 in for the touchline, into the middle of the field of play, and it's France again who set up a good position from their point of view, directly in front of the post. They have options left and right as they come forward with this one. Charles Olivon carries it forward there, And Ireland, well, they're just grasping at blue shirts as they try and take advantage of closing down the space here, but they don't really have a chance to reset because it's France who gathered it here, and it is taken there by Michele Guillard. And France now on this near side as they go waltzing through, the ball, would you believe, was intercepted there by Sam Prendergast, and he gives the ball back to Tommy O'Brien. And I could see what Sam Prendergast was trying to do, because he intercepted the pass, but he was behind his own posts, or behind his own line, and instead of trying to get rid of the ball himself, he passed it to Tommy O'Brien, who quite clearly wasn't anticipating that, and it's now going to be a 5-metre scrum for France. That could be costly from an Ireland point of view.
Yeah, again, brilliant attacking play from France. Dupont, just a quick tap and go. Prendergast did brilliant to intercept the pass, but when he carried it into the in-goal area, it was always going to be a scrum 5 to France, but he gave a bit of a hospital pass to Tommy O'Brien, who wasn't expecting it, but look, nothing came of it in the end. But again, a really strong attacking position here from France. 15 minutes in from the touchline, or 15 metres, 5 metres from the Ireland goal line. And the trouble here is BL Biarré. He has 15 metres work space on the right hand side, with only him and Tommy O'Brien to defend him. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jalibert goes down the left here and tries to create a 2-on-1.
Well, it's with Jalonge got as that one now moves it in. Here comes Jalibert, goes charging through the cover. Mathieu Jalibert with the try for France, and that was all too easy, to be fair, because everybody was Louis Biel-Biarré watching on the wing on this near side, but the ball was given up to Mathieu Jalibert, and he has got his 4th try for France, and I'm not sure that it's going to be ever a kind of more straightforward one there, because he just waltzed through the Irish defence.
Well, the bottom line is Jalibert came back on the blind side. Absolutely rock solid scrum from France. You're right, BL Biarré was there. Tommy O'Brien had to stay out, but Sam Prendergast has to do better than that. He's the one who had to come across. Tommy O'Brien had to cover BL Biarré outside him, and Jalibert, who's been in absolutely brilliant form for UBB, Union Bordeaux-Bègles, what an opportunity for him. And Ramos, whose kicking is sublime. I think he's 100% in the Champions Cup. An opportunity here to add another 2 points.
And that's outside the 22-metre line, 10 metres in for the touchline, near side of the pitch, and he's after hitting the post, the left-hand post, with that one. And so 1 out of 2 for Thomas Ramos, Louis Biel-Biarré and Mathieu Jalibert with the tries for France. So it is 2 Bordeaux-Bègles players who have got the tries for them, and they lead here by 12 points to nil with 23 minutes gone.
Yeah, and Thomas Ramos is human after all, but France now really in the ascendancy. I felt the opening 20 minutes of this game were absolutely huge for Ireland, but Tommy O'Brien here.
Here's a chance here as Josh van der Fleer got us that one. The ball came and they tried to move up. The referee's whistle has gone, and it was knocked on from the restart there. I thought it was a bit peculiar, to be fair, how Ireland ended up with the ball there on that occasion, but it was knocked on from the restart from inside the 22-metre line, 10 in for the touchline on this near side of the pitch, and it is going to be a scrum. The scrum will be for France, who are sort of catching their second breath here in the northern suburbs of Paris with 23.5 minutes gone. They're ahead by 12 points to nil, and they've certainly set out their stall early on in this game in terms of their attacking intent. And realistically, I mean, it's 2 mistakes from an Ireland point of view, but they are mistakes, Donald. That's the reality.
Yeah, they are, but where they're clinical, Michael, once they get into your 22, they have so many options, and behind that scrum, so much stardust sprinkled all over the field. It really is any one of those 7 backs could score.
Here's Antoine Dupont with the scrum feed for France now on the 22. Referee's whistle has gone, and the referee has given the free kick for France. And Dan Sheehan just double checking with the referee there what that was for. I think it was unstable in the scrum there. Is back with Jalibert, kicks this one up in the air, and underneath that one now is the Ireland fullback Jamie Osborne. Got us that, but he's hit onto the ground like a rag doll there by Charles Olivon, who's all over the place. He certainly belies his 32 years as Ireland tried to move that one now and bring play towards the 10-metre line, their own one. Back with Jemison Gibson Park, moves in out to Joe McCarthy. McCarthy comes forward with this one now, swivels as he tries to bring play towards the 10-metre line, his own one, 20 metres in for the touchline, near side of the pitch here, kicked up in the air by Jemison Gibson Park, and Jamie Osborne was back there, and France have it now through Jalibert. Jalibert is tackled onto the ground there by Jamison Gibson Park, shy of the touchline on this near side. Ireland have turned it over. It's into Joe McCarthy, pops it up now, and a good opportunity, but Ireland have lost the ball forward there by Jeremy Loughman.
Trouble.
And they certainly are in trouble. Here comes Dupont, gathers this one now, and France have it now as they tippy-toe their way towards the Ireland 22, across on the far side of the pitch there. And Ireland now again, it has to be a kind of Fort Knox siege mentality there of the 22-metre line across on that far side. France in for 2 tries already. Michele Guillard looks to bring play towards the 22. Antoine Dupont into the middle of the field of play is with Doreen Aldegheri. Try to bring it there now towards the Ireland 22. And France in control of it here now. And they always look, they make it so as if they have an extra player on the pitch, which quite obviously they don't, because they're making yards every time. It's back at Oscar Jego. Jego moves it in now. Charles Olivon carries it inside the 22. Antoine Dupont, and again France have control of it here now. The ball is lost, but it's gone backwards, and France have won it back, and they bring play now towards the 22-metre line, far side of the field of play. 26 minutes gone. France ahead by 12 points to 0 as they come in search of a third try here at the Stade de France, and in close quarters to have it inside the 22-metre line. Across on that far side, Michele Guillard with the ball in his hand, and it's going to be a penalty against Joe McCarthy. And the referee, well, he's got his arm outstretched. It's back with Antoine Dupont. Dupont has this one here now, and Dupont then tries to get around the challenge there of Jeremy Loughman. The referee has called play back here, and he is going to give the penalty. The penalty will be for France well inside the 22-metre line, and he's penalised Joe McCarthy, who I think it's a timing issue, is perhaps the nicest way I can say it.
Yeah, well, the problem is Ireland are looking to try and make big hits, which I can understand, but there's so many big ball carriers from France. They're certainly winning the metres after contact. That's a huge, like Oscar Jego isn't the biggest man, but he's winning all those physical collisions. There's a debate coming on. I think Thomas Ramos is going to take the kick. He's looking for the key. The kicking tee, having missed that kick a minute ago, I think he's annoyed with himself, but this kick will push France into a 15-point lead. But just a little bit of desperation seeping in from Ireland, Michael. They know they're on the back foot. They know they're under pressure. A big debate going on now about the front row and where Dan Sheehan is placing his feet. That's exactly what Ireland don't need. Carl Dixon already seems to have made up his mind that France are the ones who are taking that step in the scrum that little bit earlier.
Well, Thomas Ramos with the kick, and he's landed. That one has gone straight between the posts, so 2 out of 3 for him. He'll be happy, as all kickers are. The last one wasn't a good one. He'll be happy with this one because it is a good one, and France have extended the lead here 27.5, and it's gone 15 points to 0. And apart from the opening 6, 7, 8 minutes, which was kind of positive from an Ireland point of view, France have controlled this game, haven't they?
Yeah, they certainly have. I mean, Ireland had one opportunity in that French 22. Good move off the line-out, but unfortunately knocked on the ball, and that's been the story of the night. They do one positive thing but follow it up with a mistake.
Yeah, and France look to carry that one out towards their own 22-metre line. Again, taken by Michele Guillard, and available here now for Antoine Dupont, standing inside his own 22. The captain making a return from that horrific ACL injury that he had. The ball bounces, it comes back on the French side of the house, and it is available here now as Ireland look to try and gather that one. Thomas Clarkson prodded it clear, and it's going to bounce, and it is taken here by Jamie Osborne, who gathers it now in his own 22-metre line, comes up with this one now, gets the kick away, and it is taken here now by Thomas Ramos, and he looks to launch this one towards the touchline on this near side of the pitch, and it's gone into touch. That's the side of the pitch that is patrolled by Jordan Way in the opening half of this game. Ingus Gardner on the far side, and it is going to be a line-out throw. The line-out throw will be for Ireland shy of their own 10-metre line on this near side of the pitch.
Yeah, once again, it's clever play from France. We know they're brilliant from broken play, but they want to control territory. Ireland's line-out has been excellent so far tonight, but France going to put a bit of pressure on here.
Here's Dan Sheehan with the line-out throw, fires it towards the tail end, taken there by Tyke Byrne. Cian Prendergast has it now in there towards Caelan Doris. Made a bit of ground with that. He tried to bring play towards the halfway line. Back there now with Jamison Gibson Park, kicks it up in the air. Good enough hang time on that one. Louis Biel-Berrier is underneath that. Charles Olivon is there. Referee is allows play continue on. It's with Dan Sheehan now as he comes on the attack for Ireland. Look to bring play towards the 22. That is the French one. Available here now. Swept into the middle of the field of play by Tadhg Beirne. Tadhg Beirne has it now. Gets past BL Berrier. Brought play towards the 22 metre line. 5 in for the touchline. In towards Cian Prendergast to his brother. Sam popped it in there now towards Joe McCarthy. Try to bring play towards the France 22. Back at Sam Prendergast now. Leaves it in, and it's the two Prendergast combine as they bring play to the outskirts of the 22. Swept in now to Joe McCarthy out the back door, and available here now is taken by Stuart McCluskey. McCluskey looks to go forward with this one now, and he uses his strong force to bring play towards the France 22 metre line. As that ball is hacked clear, there's a chance here now as Prendergast goes chasing after that one. Sam Prendergast is there, and the ball was kicked over the line, but the referee's whistle has gone, and the referee has penalised Sam Prendergast for tackling the French player as the two of them went to go back for the ball.
Yeah, the two of them were chasing just a little grubber kick through. I'd like to see it again here. The two players were on top of each other, but I do think that Sam made contact with the French player before he got his hands on the ball, and again that's another mini mistake that allows France to relieve the pressure. We just see Prendergast, he kicks the ball through. He definitely, I think, pulls back the French player, no doubt about that. Just looking at it, it's Thomas Ramos trying to get back. Ramos kicks the ball dead in any event, but I think Prendergast did put his hand on his back prior to that incident.
Yeah, the ball is kicked into touch. It'll be a line-out throw for France outside their own 10 metre line, near side of the pitch there. And it is taken on the 10 metre line. France leading 15 points to nil. 31 minutes gone. Referee's whistle has gone, and the referee, while he's given so many signals, he's like an air traffic controller out there, Carl Dixon, and he's asked that the line-out throw be taken again, and it will be a chance for France here now. Caelan Doris is talking to the match referee, and it is the France hooker Julien Marchand who is ready to fire this one in. It's 49 cap for France as they win that one, and it's taken by Francois Crowe, and France down low now, trying to drive Ireland back over the 10 metre line on the near side of the pitch now. 7 in from the touchline inside the France half of the pitch. Back here now, and Louis BL Berrier tried to take the pass there from Antoine Dupont, and they've messed it up between the two of them. The channel was pretty narrow, to be fair about it, crowded out there by Ireland, and it is going to be a line-out throw. The line-out throw will be for Ireland now. It's closer to the halfway line than it is to the French 10 metre line on this near side of the pitch.
Yeah, but you could see what Dupont was trying to do. Just, you mentioned narrow, 4 metres in fact, but he's trying to play BL Berrier into the game as often as possible, and with talent like him, you can understand that.
Ireland went for the short line-out. They've won it in the line-out there on that occasion. Back here now with Jamison Gibson Park. Switches direction. Chance here now as Josh van der Fleer carries it towards the 10 metre line inside the France half of the pitch. 7 in for the touchline. Joe McCarthy to Sam Prendergast into the middle of the field to play. Tadhg Beirne has it. It's a chance here now for McCluskey. He hesitated for a second and then backed himself as he brought play towards the 10 metre line, but defensively it's been terrific for France so far. Joe McCarthy, which I believe has lost control of the ball, has gone backwards. This is a concentration thing from his point of view, and it's France who pile through, but it's Ireland who come away with the ball again. Back at Sam Prendergast now, looks to move it across far side. Sam Prendergast doesn't have control of the ball at the moment. It's in the arms there of Jamison Gibson Park towards Josh van der Fleer. Look to bring play towards the halfway line, across in that far side of the pitch. The ball has been lost, and it's France who have it now. Back at Thomas Ramos. He comes on the counter-attack, and he's absolutely lightning as he sets it up here now towards Depoter, in towards Mo Fana, in towards BL Berrier. Berrier towards Anthony Jelonche. Look to bring play towards the 10 metre line. Ran into the arms there of Tadhg Beirne, and it's available here for France now. It's the Ireland 10 metre line. 20 in for the touchline. Near side of the pitch, Mathieu Jalibert kicks it up in the air, goes chasing back to try to gather that one here, and it's France who have it across far side. Now it's Will Guillard inside the 22. Charles Olivon actually goes charging forward with that one. Charles Olivon with the third try for France, and that is French rugby at its magnificent best on that occasion, as they went through the Irish cover, kept the ball in hand, kept it alive, looked as if there was nothing on, and then all of a sudden there was something on, and Ireland have been carved open. It is Charles Olivon celebrating his 18th international try on his 49th cap for France, and a third try for them as we come towards half-time.
Well, it's sensational rugby to watch. Jalibert with just a chip over the back, he manages to get a hand, they keep it alive, but the 2 second rows, Jean and Olivon were involved in that. Interplay with them just opened Ireland up, left them for dead, and this is rugby from a different planet.
Well, they got the conversion opportunity from the far side of the pitch, and great hum and buzz around the stadium here. And it is Tomo Ramos now with the conversion chance to come from outside the 22, and he kicks it with 2 seconds to spare from the far side of the pitch, and it's a terrific kick. Tomo Ramos with the conversion for France with 35 minutes gone, and they extend the lead coming towards half-time. It's 22 points to 0.
Yeah, it's getting ugly now. Anytime there's space available, France have the skill set, they have the pace, and they have the power just to exploit it. And Ireland chasing shadows at the moment. They just can't put two good things back to back. It's really on the verge of being serious for Ireland now. 3 tries and 5 minutes to go to half time. Ireland just can't concede again before the break.
Well, they've kicked the ball from the restart. It appears that they kicked the ball to the same spot for the last couple of times, Ireland, and it is taken by Michele Guillard inside his own 22-metre line. Dupont zacks it up in the air, and it's taken here now by Jamie Osborne. He tried to bring play towards the halfway line. He's carried it over the halfway line. 15 in for the touchline. Near side of the pitch here, Dan Sheehan swept across here now and thumped across on the far side as they tried to gather that one. The ball has gone into touch on that far side, and Ireland just, well, beginning to make mistake after mistake, and it is gone into touch across on that far side, and will be a line out. The line out throw will be for France, but it's inside the Irish half of the pitch on that far side.
Yeah, the problem now is they're chasing the game, they're taking risks. That was a kick to nothing really. They need to keep the ball in hand. They need to try and eke out those metres beyond the tackle, try and get a foothold in the French half of the field, but they've been playing in reverse for this game so far.
Oscar Jago winning the ball in the line out for France. They move it along the line. They brought it towards the halfway line. Back at Yoram Moefana. Jalibert out towards Biel Beret. Biel Beret tried to get the ball past Jamie Osborne there on that occasion. Kicked it past him, but it went off his body and went into touch. And it is going to be a line-out throw. You can see the attacking intent every single time that France get that ball. And Louis Biel-Beret, every time that he gathers that ball and tries to go chasing up after that one. Biel-Beret having a word with the assistant referee on the near side. I thought the ball had gone into touch off the Irish player, to be fair about it, and I think that's what annoyed Louis Biel-Beret, and it is... it is now actually going to the assistant referee has actually changed it around again. It is going to be a line-out throw to France just inside the 10-metre line. That's the Irish one on this near side. Julien Marchand with the line-out throw. France leading 22 points in 3 tries. Marchand towards Oscar Jago. Antoine Dupont in towards Jalibert in the middle of the field of play, and it's France who have it again as they look to try and bring play now towards the Ireland 10-metre line. Swept out here. Ireland certainly, well, they're chasing shadows. That's the reality about it now, as the ball is kicked back and taken here now by Jamie Osborne, and Jamie Osborne now decides to go in the counter-attack himself. There are 2 French players who've hammered him onto the ground as he tried to bring it towards the outskirts of the 22 on this near side, and has gone in there now towards Jeremy Loughman. Jeremy Loughman lets it available here now as Jamison Gibson Park comes to try and gather that. 17 in for the touchline on the near side inside the 22, and available here now as Jamison Gibson Park gets a kick at this one and will hammer it towards touch on this near side of the pitch. 38 minutes gone, and it's going to be a line-out throw in a good attacking position from a France point of view, just outside the 10-metre line.
Yeah, and the invention of France, I mentioned that the best line-out in the world in 25, 97% success ratio. So every time you kick the ball into touch, they build something from it. They had 2 set plays there, and every time they do it, they manage to get 10-15 metres over the gain line.
Julien Marchand fires it in, taken by Oscar Jago. France down low, drive Ireland back now over the 10-metre line. 5 in for the touchline on the near side of the pitch as Caelan Doris is ejected from that maul there, and it's France who, well, they've done some good work in terms of holding on to the ball. Antoine Dupont into the centre of the field of play towards Yoram Moefana as he brings it now kind of halfway towards the 22-metre line back with Oscar Jago. Came forward with this one, and it is, the ball is after squirting out there. Sam Prendergast looks to try and gather that one out from inside his own 22-metre line, kicks it through, and chasing after that was Stockdale. But it's France who have it now again. Again, they come in the counter-attack. Back at Mathieu Jalibert. Jalibert tries to bring it inside the 10-metre line, across on that far side. 17 in for the touchline. Moved in. Thomas Ramos moves it back in there towards Michele Guillard. Look to bring play towards the Ireland 10-metre line. Back with Antoine Dupont. Kicks it through. There's a bit of a gap there, and the ball has gone back now towards where Jamie Osborne is standing. And Jamie Osborne is inside his own 22-metre line, and Jamie Osborne smashes the ball into touch, and it is going to be a line-out throw. The line-out throw will be for France, but it's midway between the 10-metre line and the Ireland 22-metre line on this near side.
Yeah, but Antoine Dupont is he's the maestro. Every time he looks up, he finds the space. That kick in behind, just as well for Ireland. I don't know what happened in the previous 5 minutes, but the French number 8, Anthony Gelange, was absolutely out on his feet, and looked as if he was carrying an injury. If he hadn't, he may well have retained that ball, and Ireland be in trouble again.
Well, Charles Olivon has won the ball on the line-out. The Irish coaching team are a couple of paces ahead of us here, a couple of rows. They've already left their position as they go on towards the changing room for half-time. France with 62% of possession in this game so far. They got 3 tries to show for it as the ball is hacked through across on that far side of the pitch, and the referee has blown the half-time whistle 40 minutes and 4 seconds after he blew the first whistle for the game. But it's France in the driving seat here at the Stade de France. 3 tries, Louis Biel-Barré, Mathieu Jalibert and Charles Olivon. 2 conversions and a penalty. It's France in control of the Stade de France by 22 points. And we're back after this break.
The Guinness Six Nations, France versus Ireland on RTE Radio 1 and the RTE Radio Player app.
RTE Radio 1. Johnny Marr. Live at Ivy Gardens, Friday, July 10th. Tickets available now. Presented by Aiken Promotions in association with the Irish Times. Music update on RTE Radio 1.
The law has changed to make everyday healthcare easier. For the first time, pharmacists will be able to provide you with a prescription for some minor health conditions. This private consultation service will be available at participating pharmacies to give people across Ireland faster access to trusted healthcare. For more information, visit gov.ie/Common Condition Service. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Hello, Jedward speaking. Sorry, Edward speaking.
Hey bro, I'm glad you picked up.
Who is this?
It's me, John. I'm literally outside in the landing.
I don't know any Sean. Lose my number. Hello?
Edward, don't hang up. I'm sorry for saying a handyman could fix the gas boiler. Please forgive.
Always use a registered gas installer, or you could risk everything. Find one at rgi.ie.
Did you ever work in the UK for as little as 1 year? If you did and you're under 70, for most people, this is your last chance ever to get a guaranteed UK state pension worth up to €300,000 over a typical retirement for just a small payment directly to UK revenue with no impact on your Irish pension. Most people get €40 back for every €1 they pay in. The deadline is very soon, so act fast. See extrapension.com or call us in Galway. Service fees apply.
The Guinness Six Nations, France versus Ireland on RTE Radio 1.
Mathieu Jalibert with the kick comes to the way. Prendergast has to go chasing back to try and gather that one, and Prendergast gathers this one now and hacks it clear, and the ball is then, would you believe, it didn't go into touch. It's taken by Deportier, moves it out on the near side of the pitch back towards Yoram Moefana in towards Biel-Barré. Barré is hand tripped there as he goes inside the 22-metre line, charging for the corner. He's got in for the try. It's a try for France, and that has come after 12 minutes of the game. After that kick from Sam Prendergast, you can understand what he was trying to do. The ball didn't go into touch, and it was taken initially by Nicolas Deportier, and that's where France are absolutely lethal. Transition is the word, try is the name of it, and the scorer is Louis Biel-Barré. Jalonge gathers that one now, moves it in. Here comes Jalibert, goes charging through the cover. Mathieu Jalibert with the try for France, and that was all to too easy, to be fair, because everybody was Louis Biel-Viret watching on the wing on this near side, but the ball was given up to Mathieu Jalibert, and he has got his 4th try for France, and I'm not sure that it's going to be ever a kind of more straightforward one there, because he just waltzed through the Irish defence. Mathieu Jalibert kicks it up in the air, goes chasing back to try to gather that one here, and it's France who have it across far side. Now it's Will Guillard inside the 22. Charles Olivon actually goes charging forward with that one. Charles Olivon with the 3rd try for France, and that is French rugby at its magnificent best on that occasion, as they went through the Irish cover, kept the ball in hand, kept it alive, looked as if there was nothing on, and then all of a sudden there was something on, and Ireland have been carved open. It is Charles Olivon celebrating his 18th international try on his 49th cap for France, and a 3rd try for them as we come towards half-time.
Well, it's sensational rugby to watch. Jalibert with just a chip over the back, he manages to get a hand, they keep it alive, but the 2 second rows, Jean and Olivon were involved in that. Interplay with them just opened Ireland up, left them for dead, and this is rugby from a different planet.
Yeah, Donal Lenihan with the words that is ringing through all of our ears. Fiona Coughlin, Lindsay Peat and Devin Toner with me in studio. And Fiona, that's probably about as bad as we expected it could potentially be.
Oh, it's terrible. For the first kind of 13 minutes, you thought Ireland were pinning France back, and then France get down and mistakes by Ireland and go in and score, and then it's been all France ever since, dominating across the board. Ireland haven't got into any flow at all in their attacking shape that we would expect them to do, and hugely disappointing. And it's what they can do now at halftime to somewhat turn this around.
Well, that's the question, Devin, because they haven't fired a shot in this first half.
No, like you see, like the few times that we actually do have the ball and we actually hold on to it and not kick it away, it seems like you see that we can get over the gain line and we can actually build some phases behind it. So we just need to be able to do that a bit more. And kind of some of the discipline as well hasn't been great, and we're just kind of obviously kicking the ball away, but it's not breeding a lot of confidence, I suppose, at the minute.
That's the problem, Lindsay, because before the game, when even I know we were sort of tongue-in-cheek saying you were giving Ireland a chance, this is not the kind of game you would like to see Ireland playing if they were going to be in it.
No, and that's what we said. Like, if any French team who wants to play and look, they're great advocates of the game and how they play it, and look, we can't take away for how brilliant they've been, and especially when they've turned us over or we've had unforced errors. They've absolutely destroyed us. But like what you expect from players in an Irish jersey is fighting, as Devin said, when we have the ball and we keep ball in hand. Like, we make gain line and we make them look mediocre or like normal, but when we give them time and space in the ball, they absolutely rip us apart. So we haven't fired a shot. Like, my optimism, was I was confident that at least we'd have a performance, but there's nothing there. There's no fight, there's no spirit, there's no anything, and we're just compounding our own errors. And as the more errors we build, we're deflating our own confidence, and they look a little bit shook and lost for, like, they're rudderless, as Fiona said. Like, I do get the kicking game. I do it because it disrupts France, but it also disrupts our momentum. Mm-hmm. And we're the more physical team that can kind of suppress this French flair. We're just not seeing enough of it.
But two of those tries, Fiona, are coming directly from us loosely kicking the ball and then them counter-attacking. So, like, Lindsay's right. Yes, I understand there's a game plan there, but it's clearly not working.
Yeah, it's our defence then after that kick that it's coming up and it's connected, and we've seen Biel-Viret doesn't need an awful lot of space to get by, but some of the attempted tackles on him were quite poor as well. And yeah, like, kick for position, but then when they were in good position within the 22, they were kicking the ball away as well. So I would question that, but they look tired as well. Ireland look out on their feet, and that's a confidence thing. It's when you're defending all the time, but even in defence, everything's so passive in defence. We haven't seen a big hit go in at all. France seem to be getting gain line in nearly every carry. I said they weren't the biggest pack, but by God are they athletic and able to move the ball as well. And I have no doubt that their engines are going to keep going longer than Ireland's.
What is it then that is causing Ireland to look like that, Devin? Is it just a pure lack of confidence? Is it tiredness, which would be hard to sort of put your hand on if that's what Fiona is suggesting? It's very hard to understand what is actually going on.
It's very hard to understand, but you can't look past how good France have been.
Yeah, true.
So, like, and again, like, if you compare and contrast the two tens, I suppose Prendergast versus Jalibert. Jalibert has been taking control of it. He's been brilliant every time he's been on the ball. He just oozes confidence. Whether Prendergast hasn't had the best game so far, I think he'll have to come out better in the second half, kind of take the game by the scruff of the neck and hopefully do better. But it's been underwhelming, I suppose, but I think Faz is going to have a fair few tough words at half time now.
Just on the Prendergast one, Lindsay, is it hard for him to do that? Because a lot of the games where we've seen him play well are where Ireland are on the front foot, and he has that extra time to be able to do that, whereas he hasn't actually had the chance to get this attack firing because they haven't held on to the ball for long enough, and also they're on the back foot for the whole 40 minutes there.
They are. The thing about the 10 is, like, you could reference him as the point guard, the quarterback. So he's that, like, central, like, cognitive, like, entity that's, you know, should be directing his pack. You know, he should be looking right, or, you know, our France down numbers on one side. You know, he should be calling his pack around and getting them set up in a arrow shape to, you know, continue on the gain line, suck France in, and then he's creating space on his outside. But what he's doing is going to this default kicking game, and he's not actually reading what France are giving us. And that's where I think, like, Jalibert had a little chip through that caused us, you know, all amounts of pressure, because we're weak in between your fullback and your defensive line, like, and he's so smart in doing that. But his you know, he's always thinking, and that's the difference. He's calm, he's cool, he's collected, and he's able to make decisions based on what he sees. I think Prendergast is kind of, he's forcing the game, he's trying to make something happen, and I think when Ireland are in a bit of a dogfight or need to just really slow the game down and, you know, try and pressurise France, he needs to slow it down and direct his players a lot more. Definitely not kicking it away. Like, they are tired. We're three forwards who, I'll tell you what, I'm telling you, look at Fiona Smile, if one more 10 kicks, I'd be like, what are you kicking for? Because you're wrecked. You're chasing up a defensive line, you're getting back into position, and you're wrecked, and he's causing his team to be just flat out on their feet. So I think they just he needs to take control, and if he doesn't do it in the first 10 minutes, I think there has to be a change.
But that's the challenge, though. This is the decision they've made, though, Devin. You know, this is the kind of game they want to play. They want Prendergast to be able to give them the keys to the kingdom, to be able to try to run it. It would be a big shift of momentum to say, okay, actually, we're going to just throw Jack Crowley on here and we're going to play defensively, because that's probably not going to get Ireland back into the game either.
No, it's not, because we're like, there's not really any facet of the game that we're kind of dominating either. Like,
yeah,
we kind of, from my point of view, I think we should maybe kind of keep it a bit tighter, keeping the forwards a bit more. But like, we've had 100% line out. We kind of negated their maul quite a good bit as well. So I think if we can kind of maybe get a few mauls and get, like as Fiona said, they picked, France usually have a gargantuan second row, which they don't this time. They have two back rows kind of playing second row, so they're lighter than they usually would be. So if we can keep it tighter, and as I said, once we keep hold of the ball and maybe go around the corner a few more times and kind of just use your physicality against them as well.
We can go after the scrum, can't we, really? I think we're kind of a bit passive in the scrum. Like, Clarkson's been impressive, but he's not going to last. But I think he has the upper hand on Gross, and I'd like to see us that bit of aggression through set piece, and I think the lads are right. It'll build confidence as well. It'll get us a bit of momentum, and I think it'll buy Prendergast a little bit of time just to build his confidence as well. And I think the forwards can do that for him, is just take a little bit of pressure off, to be honest. Like, that's if that's going to change now at half time, because we haven't been playing that way, bringing the forwards into it. Like, we spoke and we said we haven't seen Caelan Doris with those big ball carries, or Joe McCarthy the one opportunity and knocks it backwards, but to bring them into the game, to make them be more physical, because we just haven't seen it at all.
But even we haven't seen McCluskey on the ball really. So like, you need to just get him the ball and get him crashing up, like going out hard, like, you know. Haven't seen much of Gary Ringrose either. No. Like, he needs to be getting the ball a bit more.
And two lads are usually confident in coming off that and hunting high, and I think that comes with, if we can get a bit more of a set line to D, keep it in close and give them time to be set to come up and really make those customary tackles that we're used to. I think we'll see a different Irish team the second half.
Well, you need to, because the stats that will make for frightening viewing for Andy Farrell and Irish fans who maybe are in their cars or watching this at home. We've had to make twice the amount of tackles, and we've missed 19 tackles in that first half, Fiona. Like, these are the kind of stats that have seen Ireland getting a walloping in November and last Six Nations against France as well. These are the things that they're actually the fundamentals that an Irish team probably 5 years ago were not doing.
Yeah, but it doesn't just come from the missed tackles. It comes from speed of ruck ball that France are allowed to get that doesn't allow the Irish defensive line set the way that they want, or that transition ball that they're not getting the kick chase up quick enough or connected enough that France are able to find those gaps. And, you know, it's who's the defensive leader now that's going to take control of that and try and make sure that they set it, or who's going to get in and try and slow down that French ball when they are on attack, because they've had, I don't know, it's huge amount of 0 to 3 second speed of ball, and you can see what they can do with it, with those such athletic players with such flair, and they're all able to play ball as well. So I'd love to see someone get in, try and get a couple of turnovers or just slow their ball down.
Well, I'm looking at pictures of the Irish dressing room. They certainly don't look like they're panicking. Andy Farrell is trying to rally them. You wonder what he's going to say. The one thing is, he does know, Devon, he's got 4 Lions on this bench. He's got over 300 caps. Maybe there's a game changer in there, because Ireland need to do something, and you'd imagine they need to do something quick. They're 22 points to 0 down. If they don't score in the first 10 minutes here, they could be under serious pressure.
Yeah, we need to be the next team to score. I think the plan beforehand was probably to bring Crowley on. I was thinking maybe for Osborne to have Crowley in at 15, to have the 2 playmakers on maybe. Good. I'd like to see James Ryan come on and kind of, because he's a physical player. He's able to be physical when he wants to be. And I'd love to see actually Conan and Timney as well. Like Jack Conan, when he, like usually when he comes off the bench, he brings an extra edge, and Timney has been playing great for Ulster all year. So I think we might see a good few changes on early, maybe in the 50-55 mark.
Need to see something soon. Ireland trailing by 22 points to 0. Let's get you back to our commentary team for the second half. Michael and Donal.
Jackie, thanks indeed. Welcome back. It's no surprise at all that Ireland were the first team out on the pitch for the second half of this game. Ireland will play from right to left in the second half. And France, well, they'll be quite content with the way this opening half of the game has gone for them. Not alone have they got 3 tries, 2 conversions and a penalty, but there's a stat that is looking at me here, and it's just jumping out in front of me, Donald, in the opening half of this match. Penalties conceded, Ireland 4, France none.
Well, that tells its own story, doesn't it? I mean, I've been looking at some of the half-time stats, and France just dominated everything. 5 clean breaks to 1 for Ireland. Offloads 8 to 2. So Ireland really have to win the small battles over the next 10 minutes. I agree with the studio. We have a lot of experience on the bench. I think the sooner we get some of those players in, the better. They've got to get something positive in the next 10 minutes.
Well, Jamison Gibson-Park has thumped the ball up in the air. We're just underway. Second half, he's under pressure there from Michael Guillard, the Lyon second row, who appears to be everywhere. Now, I had to check whether there was 2 of them on the pitch at one stage, because a lot of the Ireland restarts have gone down his channel, and he's come charging back with them, and he's a huge amount of energy, putting huge pressure on Jamison Gibson-Park every time he goes to kick that ball. And it is going to be a line of throw. The line of throw will be for France. Julien Marchand just doing up his boot here on his right hand boot. Standing next to him is Angus Gardner, who is the assistant referee, and he is heading back to Sydney tomorrow. He referees the opening game of Super Rugby next weekend, the Highlanders against the Crusaders. That's the South Island Derbies. He said it to me when I was chatting to him before the game. Charles Olivon has won that ball in the tail end of the line out there, and it's France who are away again. Antoine Dupont spots a bit of a gap here, pops it through, and they try to bring play now towards the 10-metre line. That is the Irish one. Back with Julien Marchand under pressure there now from Dan Sheehan. And Antoine Dupont, well, he tripped over his own player's foot there as he stumbled onto the ground. But France still maintain possession here. Mathieu Jalibert in to act as a scrum half if he's needed. And it's France who have it now. Jalibert has it now, kicks it through. And Jamie Osborne has to go chasing back to try and gather that one. And Jamie Osborne from inside his own 22 gets the kick away, doesn't find touch. And it is taken here now by Jalibert. Jalibert on the counter-attack here as he brings play now towards the Ireland 10-metre line. Antoine Dupont sweeps it out now on the near side of the pitch. Yoram Moefana looks to gather this one, and he's brought play towards the Ireland 22 on the near side. Oscar Jegu moves it in. Jegu takes the pass there from Tomo Ramos. They try and bring it now towards the 22. That's the Ireland one in Tomo Ramos, and it's France who look at a huge gap that they have helped create there. Ireland very narrow in defence there as they try to go away with that one. Biel Beria has it, he turns provider as they look to bring it inside the 22. Back there with Tomo Ramos, who slipped onto the ground on that far side, and it is France who have it now, and they count on the attack inside the Ireland 22-metre line. 20 metres in for the touchline. France looking for an early score on the bonus point in the early stages of the second half of this game. Michele Guillard inside the 22. Antoine Dupont looks to gather that one. France have 3 tries on the board already as it's gone in towards Charles Lalibon. He is one of the try scorers from the early stages of the second half, or from the early part of this game. Referee's whistle has gone. He's called play back, and it is going to be a penalty. The penalty will be for offside, and it's a penalty for France, and a chance. I'm actually looking forward to seeing Theo Atisogbe on this near side at close quarters. I didn't see too much of the ball actually in the first half of this match, so we might see a little bit more of one of the up-and-coming players in this team, and I suppose he's the fellow who's keeping Damien Penaud out of the team, so he must be good. And here is Mathieu Jalibert with the kick. It's gone into touch. It's going to be a line-out throw for France inside the Ireland 22-metre line.
Yeah, France picking up exactly where they left off at half-time. Just the movement of the ball, the ability of the decision-making under pressure, the skill set they have, absolutely superb. They have another line-out now, 15 metres from the Irish line, and they're so creative off this phase of play.
Oscar Jago wins that one in the line out there. Julien Marchand and himself have a sort of telepathic understanding as they have it now inside the Ireland 22-metre line. Ireland defending it well, to be fair. Referee's whistle has gone, and small victories are victories nonetheless, aren't they? That was a good maul defence from an Ireland point of view, and they get the scrum now inside the 22-metre line, 15 in from the touchline.
Yeah, I mean, it was good pressure on the ground there. We've seen France actually look to play away off the line out in the first half. We know they have an outstanding maul, didn't use it on too many occasions, but Ireland managing to get a hand in, dislodge the ball. So it's an Irish scrum, and so much talk about the scrum before the game. It's actually been rock solid. I mean, Jeremy Loughman, Thomas Clarkson, they've done a really good job there. But you look at what France have on the bench. They have both Netty and Montagna. Michael Mill, just 2 caps behind him. Philly Beale, of course, a huge experience behind him, but they'll need them because Big Miafu will be coming on soon as well.
And Ireland feed the ball into the scrum, take out Jamison Gibson Park, moves it in now, back towards Sam Prendergast from inside his own 22. He puts a strong boot behind that one. And the referee, well, he's called play back there because France have dragged on the scrum. And just looking at the sort of basic statistics in terms of the line-out and the scrum, both teams have won all of their line-outs and all of their scrums so far. And the referee has given a penalty against France. I think that's the first penalty France have conceded in the game so far, and it's a chance here now for Sam Prendergast to get a sort of better touch, if you understand, but it's probably gone in exactly where the original ball had gone, and it's going to be a line-out throw. The line-out throw will be for Ireland now, just inside the France half of the pitch on this near side.
Yeah, they just need to get positive games from this. They have to get a score on the scoreboard soon. To be fair, whatever Andy Farrell said at half-time, there is a bit of jizz, there is a bit of a lift in terms of energy. Certainly they were sagging right in the last 10 minutes of that opening half, but competing again, and that's Gian putting pressure in the line-out on Tyke Byrne.
Well, they have got the ball back, Ireland, that is, as they look to try and gather this one out back with Jamison Gibson Park just outside his own 10-metre line, thumps it up in the air. Good enough hang time on that one. Stockdale goes chasing up after that, but the ball is knocked back into the arms of a French player who tries to bring it towards the 10-metre line. 13 in for the touchline. Good solid work on the ground there by Josh van der Fleer, but it's available for Antoine Dupont. And Dupont tries to gather this one here now for France. And again, he kicks it up in the air. And Ireland look to try and take this one here now. The ball is tipped back there, and it's taken by Tomo Ramos, and they come on the counter-attack here. Mathieu Jalibert, as they try and strip the ball from him outside the 10-metre line. Available here now for Dupont, kicks it through, and they go chasing after that. There's an opportunity here, would you believe, to Biel Beret chasing inside the 22-metre line. He's waving to the crowd. He's touched it down. It's his second try of the game, and he has got the bonus point try for France, and that has come 6.5 minutes into the second half, and it is France who have got the try, and it is Louis Biel Beret. Remember his name. He's going to be around for a hell of a long time.
It was again a try out of nothing, but even though people looking at it might think that it was fortuitous, Dupont knew exactly what he was doing, just to kick into the space behind Dupont. The ball bounced away from him, but he kicked it. It went off the outside of his left boot, and who was there? Accident or design? I think it was by design. Biel Beret picked it up, and once he gets that ball in his hand, you're never going to catch him. France know exactly where the space is. The variety in their game is just ripping Ireland apart. And 27-0 with a kick to go to make it 29. this could really get ugly.
Here's Tomo Ramos with the conversion chance outside the 22-metre line, 15 in for the touchline, across to the far side of the pitch, and he's nudged that one. It's gone straight between the posts, and that is Tomo Ramos. That is 4 out of 5 from his point of view. Like all out halves or all fellas who kick, they are people who thrive on perfection, and he'll be more annoyed with the conversion attempt that he missed rather than the actual ones that he got.
Yeah, absolutely agree. As I said, 100% in both the top 14 and the Champions Cup coming into this one. You put your house on him to get the one from the touchline if you were 2 points down, but that's no consolation to Ireland, and I'm surprised. I'm looking at the bench, I don't see any movement there from an Irish point of view yet. The French subs are all warming up behind the Irish posts, but no movement yet from the Irish bench, which I find surprising. 25 points down, 29 points down. We're going into the 50th minute of the game. Something has to change.
And the line-out throw is for France. It is with their hooker Julien Marchand across on that far side of the pitch there. He looks to fire this one in, and it is taken. Antoine Dupont gathers this now. Antoine Dupont then even has the wherewithal to take 2 steps back and give himself a bit of space, and it's gone here now and thumped up in the air by Tommy O'Brien. He goes chasing up after this one. Tomo Ramos has it now and spots a gap, and he goes through the centre of the Irish defence there, moves it back, and it's France now at their best as they look to carry this one. Mathieu Jalibert, 3 passes that are on the Ireland 22. Referee's whistle has gone. Mathieu Jalibert has knocked it on, and it's going to be a scrum. The scrum will be for Ireland.
Jalibert is lying on the ground. He's looking at the referee as if to say, are you sure it was a knock on? I mean, there was 4 incredible offloads in the space of 20 seconds there from the French. They're just gliding on their feet, aware of support runners inside and out. Tomo Ramos, 1 pass off his right hand to Deportier. Jalibert was just caught unawares, and as a result of that, there was a knock on. But I'm just talking about the Irish bench a minute ago. They must have been inside in the dressing room having a chat, because there's 4 of them coming on together now. I see James Ryan, Jack Conan, Nick Timoney, and Jack Crowley. So 3 forwards. Joe McCarthy, the one going off, which I think is an expression of, he hasn't made any impact on the game. Cian Prendergast going off, Jack Crowley coming in, Van der Fleer going off. I'm just trying to look, is it Sam Prendergast who's going off, or who is it?
No, I think it's probably
it's Jamie Osborne.
Jamie Osborne has been shunted to the wing, and it's Jacob Stockdale as the player who's leaving the field of play. So
disappointing for Stockdale, to be fair. He's barely touched the ball, hasn't started a Six Nations match in 5 years, and he seems to be the fall guy. It's like one of those Gaelic football games, so there's about 5 changes and one fella comes on. So just to clarify,
he's gone back on. Stockdale has gone back on. So there's a bit of confusion here. Aled Walters was down there. Ireland now have 16 players on the pitch.
Well, I tell you, this sums up to Ireland's day. Nobody knows what's going on.
And France taking the turn.
Is it Tommy O'Brien, is it?
To make a couple of changes there.
I think it is Tommy O'Brien going off.
There isn't any. He's behind the post away to the right hand side. It is Tommy O'Brien who's gone off. And Jacob Stockdale is on. So Tommy O'Brien has left the field of play, and Jamie Osborne is gone to the right wing, and Jack Crowley is gone to full back. And France have made a couple of changes as well. I see Jean-Baptiste Gros is gone, and it looks as if Michele Guillard is gone also, and it's going to be a scrum. The scrum will be for Ireland now on their own 22-metre line. 20 metres in for the touchline, near side of the field of play. Back there now with Jamison Gibson Park. Goes around towards the feet of the back row to gather that one, moves it in, taken here now, and it's come back towards Prendergast, pops it back now, it's taken by Jack Crowley, looks to gather that one now and bring play towards the 10-metre line, far side of the pitch, but he's hammered onto the ground. Available here now, Jamison Gibson Park, and Ireland look to come away with this one and bring play now towards their own 10-metre line. It's France who lead 29 points to 0. They've got 4 tries so far in this game. Back with Jamison Gibson Park, thumps it up in the air. It's going to drop to ground towards the 10-metre line. Louis Biel-Berrier went up to try and gather that one, and Jeremy Loughman was there on the ground trying to win it back for Ireland, but it's available here now for Jamison Gibson Park, and a chance here now as Ireland tried to carry it now towards the 10-metre line, the France one. Available Jamison Gibson Park towards Sam Prendergast, moves it in now towards Jack Crowley. Jack Crowley now tries to get around Antoine Dupont. He's under pressure there from the France centre Nicolas Duplessis also. And Ireland have it now towards the 22-metre line. Back with Jack Conan, moves it back in field here Ireland lost control of it there. Caelan Doris losing control of it. Referee has said the ball is knocked on. He's blown the whistle. It's going to be a scrum. The scrum will be for France outside the Ireland 22-metre line.
Yeah, just once again a little bit of desperation, but talking about the French changes there, for me, Michael Guillard was so good in that opening 50 minutes. He was in the running for man of the match, and they take him off. Olivon left on the field, and he's had an outstanding game as well. But they're able then to call on Emmanuel Miafu, 6'8", 23 stone, and what a powerhouse to be able to call on at this stage of the game.
Well, it's going to be a scrum. The scrum will be for France, and it's outside the 22-metre line. That's the first scrum since the changes were made. We have played 52 minutes. France ahead by 29 points in nil. They've got 4 tries. Antoine Dupont with the scrum feed for the home team. Feeds that one in. He's on towards the feet of the back row to gather that one. That's a dominant scrum from France's point of view now, and it's gone back here. Back with Oscar Jegu. Jegu forward with this one here. Referee's whistle has gone, and it's a penalty against Ireland, and it is going to be a chance of France now to clear their own lines from shy of their own 22-metre line, and an opportunity for Mathieu Jalibert now to try and find touch on this near side of the pitch, and the ball has gone in, and it is going to be a line of throw for France shy of the halfway line on this near side.
Yeah, and that's the first time France have got a penalty at scrum time, and I do feel the changes that they've made, if anything, they've made that French scrum stronger. I mentioned before the match Reggie Montan. He started all the November internationals. Miafu coming in behind him. That's a huge amount of power coming through there.
And it is the replacement Tucker Pieta Mobaka who's fired that one towards the tail end of the line out there, and France now driving Ireland back over at the halfway line towards the Ireland 10-metre line. 17 in for the touchline near side of the pitch. France ahead by 29 points to nil. They've got the 4 tries as they look to try and bring play now towards the 10-metre line. That is the Ireland one, and Jeremy Lockman there tries to hold out the French players. He came forward with the ball in hand. Here's back up Pierre Mobaka. Mobaka now carries it now towards the 10-metre line, but Ireland have turned this one over. Available here as it's moved across on that far side, and it's gone back here now. An opportunity for Tommy O'Brien as he gathers it now, carries it over the 10-metre line, tries to bring play towards the halfway line, far side of the pitch. 7 in from the touchline, back at Jamison Gibson Park, moves it into the centre of the field of play, and it's available here as Ireland come with that one now and look to bring play towards the halfway line as Jamison Gibson Park is in pretty quickly to gather that, thumps it up in the air. There's no real kind of speed to go up chasing after that one taken by Tomo Ramos. It's probably a bit far forward the kick, but nevertheless there weren't too many strong challengers going up to try and gather that back with Antoine Dupont. Moves it back into the middle of the field of play, and it's France who build all over again. They're all the way back towards their own 22-metre line, across on that far side. 17 in for the touchline, across on the far side of the pitch here. Antoine Dupont gathers that one now, gets the kick away there. There's good hang time on that one. Underneath that one is Sam Prendergast, moves it back into the field of play, and it's a chance here now as Ireland look to try and bring it there towards the halfway line. Swept in now. Available for Sam Prendergast. Sam Prendergast moves it out. Would you believe he's thrown the pass, and the intercept pass here has gone back into the field of play, and it is France who got this one, taken there by Hugo Aradou inside the 22, and it's back here now with Mathieu Jalibert. Jalibert got us this, and it's France who look to try and take control of this one. They've lost it. It's on the ground, but it went backwards. I thought it went backwards. Referee said it went forward, which is a bit of a relief from an Ireland point of view, and it is taken here now by Jamison Gibson Park, gives it back to Sam Prendergast, and he smashes it into touch across on that far side. It was the attempted pass, well, it was a pass from Sam Prendergast, and it was intercepted by Theo Atisogbe, and he looked as if he had a sort of clear run to the line, but it was an Ireland hand who got in there and put a bit of pressure on him. It was good work actually on the ground. I think it was Jack Crowley actually got the pass, or got the tackle in there, as Hugo Aradou from Poe had gone chasing inside the 22-metre line.
Yeah, it was just as well that it was Aradou, a second row, because he wasn't going to make the line, but the offload from Atisogbe, brilliant tackle by Crowley as you said, but the offload was just audacious, unbelievable.
Referee has called play back, a forward pass, far side of the pitch there. It's going to be a line out, or it's going to be a scrum for Ireland, midway between their own 22 and the 10-metre line. 5 in from the touchline, across on the far side of the pitch with 55 minutes only. I was about to say, and I'm going to say it, only 56 minutes gone in the match, and that is a scoreline of 29 points. France with the bonus point try already in this game.
Yeah, and I see France have also brought in now Calvin Gourges, a young 20-year-old from Toulouse, had a very bad injury last year. He has only one cap coming into this game, but people down in the south of France are waxing lyrical about this guy. And when you look at all the other fellas that are on the field, you can maybe understand now, Michael, how Galtier had the luxury of leaving Damien Penaud out of his side.
Yeah, Ireland are looking to change the front row, so all three front row replacements, Ronan Kelleher, Michael Milne and Finlay Bealham, are ready to come onto the field of play. Well, it's going to be Michael Milne and Finlay Bealham initially. It is, we're awaiting Ronan Kelleher. Looks as if he's gone back to put his tracksuit top back on, so he won't be coming on for a moment or so, but it's going to be a scrum. The scrum now is for Ireland across on the far side of the pitch here as the Mexican wave swarms around the Stade de France here on the northern suburbs of Paris. And there's nothing quite like this venue when the home team have their noses in front, and they've had their noses in front for quite a long period of time. 57 minutes gone as Ireland now come with that one taken on by Gary Ringrose, or as Stockdale rather, and apologies, I'll get it right eventually. McCluskey brought it over the 10-metre line. They've lost control of it. France have it now, however, as they go attacking, bring play inside the 10-metre line across on the far side. Antoine Dupont moves it out the back doors. A chance for Biel Beret into the middle of the field to play, and it is knocked on, would you believe? And now there's a chance here as Dan Sheehan gathers that one. The ball knocked on there by Dupotier. And it's now available here for Jemison Gibson Park now. Comes on the run, brings play inside the 10-metre line. Crawley moves it in now. It's available here now as Jacob Stockdale brought play towards the 22-metre line, the French one. Back with Sam Prendergast, moves it into the middle of the field to play. And it is carried forward here inside the 10-metre line. And Ireland, well, the door has been clasped shut as they look to attack now. And it's good work here through the ingenuity of Jacob Stockdale. It brought play towards the 22-metre line, the French one. Moved in there towards James Ryan, comes forward with that one. Available here now for Jemison Gibson Park on the France 22. 15 in from the touchline. Ireland still looking for their first score. Is kicked through there by Jack Crowley. They go chasing back after that one. And it is Atisogbe, Theo Atisogbe, who went chasing back to gather that one. He has it, but he's 5 metres short of his own line as Ireland pile through here, and it's France who've got the confidence now and wherewithal to work the ball from 5 metres short of their own line as they come away with this one. Referee's whistle has gone. France have been penalised, not releasing. It's a penalty for Ireland.
Yeah, super work there by Tyke Byrne with his trademark. Ireland
take it pretty quickly. Prendergast has control of it now, moves it out, and there's an opportunity. Jack Conan popped it across, and Gary Ringrose looks to gather that one, and it's Ireland. Well, even the quick tap penalties are the ones that have been driven back towards the 22-metre line. They try to come forward with that one. Certainly looked like a no-arm challenge there by Anthony Jalonch. I don't think there was anything intentional in it. And it is gone back here now. Sam Prendergast has control of it now, moves it into the middle of the field of play. There's an opportunity here as they come forward. Nick Timoney got us this one, and Nick Timoney goes through for the try, and it's a score for Ireland that has come after 59 minutes. And Nick Timoney then with the try, and it does look as if Michael Milne and Finlay Bealham are coming onto the field of play for Ireland.
Yeah, well, it's just gives something for the Ireland players to grasp on. I mean, that was almost French-like in terms of the way that Ireland offloaded, gone into that. Nick Timoney has had a super season for Ulster, did very well in the November series when he came on. Ireland were playing with penalty advantage. To be fair, Sam Prendergast keeps the ball alive. Great line from Nick Timoney there, and for once Ireland making the French look human.
Well, Sam Prendergast then is just receiving some bit of treatment there from Adit Walters inside the 22-metre line. One of the medical people there as well, having a chat with the referee. I think he's pretty much happy enough to let him continue on. And it's Sam Prendergast down with the conversion opportunity after that try by Nick Timoney, which has come in the 59th minute. And this is the first kick of the game for Sam Prendergast, and he's hammered that one. Has gone straight between the posts, and Ireland have their first score, 29 points to 7. And we are ready to restart here, and Ireland with that score by Nick Timoney.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, hasn't it? But certainly a bit of life brought in from the bench. Nick Timoney, as I mentioned, he's been lively with Ulster all year. But France, now you just get the feeling they were raging with themselves for allowing that train in. Michael Milne, he's on the field now, and what a turnaround from him. Joined Munster from Leinster last year. 2 caps coming in here against Georgia and Portugal, but he's in with the big boys now.
And Ireland have won that from the restart. Mathieu Jalibert with the restart there, taken as Ireland look to bring it to the outskirts of the 22-metre line on the near side of the pitch. They're now back with Jemison Gibson Park Emmanuel Miafu was almost offside, but Jemison Gibson Park did the kick well, taken by Jack Conan now. The ball is tapped back there. Jemison Gibson Park then looked to try and gather this one. The ball, well, the referee's got his arm out stretched here. He's playing advantage here. I thought it was knocked down by the Irish player, but then was somebody in an offside position. I think that's what he's called, play back forward.
I think it was DuPont rushed up. I thought initially that he might have knocked it on, but
so the assistant referee is going to chat to Carl Dixon, I think, here. We may be here. Here we go, mate. As let's say.
Never realistic expectation of him catching the ball. Yeah. But do we have a defender for a line break opportunity? We need to check that, mate. I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay. I think he's drawn attention.
Okay, so we've got information that there's defenders in the background, so it's just a penalty. I think it's clean break down the edge. The information I have is the fact that there's defenders in the background.
As Carl Dixon is the referee, and the fellow was chatting to him there was Angus Gardner, and he said the information there that he had was that Gilles, wouldn't have that been exciting if it was Antoine Dupont?
Well, he was the fellow who created the indiscretion, but got a hand to the ball before it got to Jacob Stockdale, but Stockdale was almost on the touchline. There was about 4 French players to beat, so there was no way he was going to score from that.
Yeah.
And as a consequence, it saved Dupont getting a yellow card, but Ireland over the line out 5 metres out.
And it's a line-out throw on this near side of the pitch there, taken by Dan Sheehan. Fires it in, taken by Tyke Byrne. Ireland down low, trying to drive France back here now. And the ball under the armpit there now of Dan Sheehan as Ireland are marching the French back, swept into the middle of the field of play, taken now as Ireland barged their way forward here, swept up, and an opportunity here as Michael Milne has that. He stopped about a foot short of the line, moved back in. James Ryan certainly was the ball carrier on that occasion. Referee playing advantage for Ireland. The some fella's boot gone flying away to the right hand side, available for Tyke Byrne, pops it up, and Ireland piled through. And Ireland, well, they feel as if they've got in for the try, but the referee has actually said it is a try, and that is a good power movement there. I think it may very well have been Jack Conan was the fellow who got over on that occasion, but it's a try for Ireland.
I'm not sure, it could be Michael Milne. I'm not 100% sure. We just see it again, line out, good setup here. Tyke Byrne, initially France, good defence on the line, and but Ireland, I did think before the match that Ireland had more strength on the bench. I mentioned the fact they had 4 Lions, and certainly they've all made an impact, but the referee seems to be reviewing this one again.
Well, Sam Prendergast is lining up the conversion, but the referee is having a look at a big screen. The rain is beginning to pour down here now. The referee is going to have a look at it on the big screen. Let's see. Let's try to hear what he's going to say here.
So Tembo coming up to you, had the ball on the ground. So on for decision is try. Just need to make sure that he hasn't lost it forward.
Okay, Dicker, on-field decision is try.
So the on-field decision, as you're hearing, is a try. I just want to double check whether the ball actually has been lost forward. It's Michael Milne.
It looks like it's in his hand and then falls backwards.
So it is Michael Milne, will be. Ian Tempest is the television match official.
Back to you now.
Television match official is Ian Tempest.
So nothing clear to all of turn out on Okay, so I have a decision.
Here we go.
Try scored.
The try and try scored. So I think it's Michael Milne actually is the one. So Michael Milne with the try for Ireland. That is his first. And it is Ireland. Sam Prendergast with the conversion. Nudged it between the posts. 29-14.
Yeah, what an incredible 5 or 6 minutes for Ireland. What an incredible minute for Michael Milne. We mentioned that he'd only been on the field 4 or 5 minutes. He's a big, strong, powerful ball carrier, but France making another few changes. Now we have Nocci from Montpellier coming on in the back row. I'm not surprised.
There's Mathieu Jalibert with the restart now. Kicks us down pretty long, taken there by Caelan Doris. As Caelan Doris now begins to find a bit of a yardage, he brought play to the outskirts of his own 22-metre line. 15 in for the touchline on this near side of the pitch now, inside the Ireland 22. Back there with Jemison Gibson Park. He looks to gather that one now. Kicks it up in the air. He's under pressure there from Ugo Aradou. And the ball, well, it was did come forward off a French player, I thought initially, and then Tyke Byrne had it. Available here now for Thomas Ramos as he comes towards the Ireland 10-metre line. It's France stung by those 2 tries from an Ireland point of view. Emmanuel Miafou, as France now try and smuggle the ball towards the Irish 10-metre line in a midfield position. Antoine Dupont away to his left-hand side as Ireland's defence clamps clear on that occasion, and they get the ball out the back door. Here comes Biel Barré inside the 22-metre line, far side of the pitch. He's hammered onto the ground, and Ireland pile through here now, and as France have been driven back outside is with Piato Movaka as he tried to bring it towards the 22-metre line. 13 in for the touchline across on that far side of the pitch now, and it's France again on the good attack. Nicolas Duporter try to bring play towards the 22, midway between the Ireland 22 and the 10-metre line. The ball is on the ground. Ireland pile over that one and look to try and turn it over in the half. It's available. Jefferson Gibson Park, a chance for Crowley. Moves it out now. There's a strong run here now from Nick Timoney. Broad play there outside his own 10-metre line. Anthony Jelonch gets the attack in. Prendergast, that's Sam, moves it back into the field of play. Jack Conan with the pass as well. And available here for Jefferson Gibson Park. Thumps it up in the air as Ireland go chasing up after that one. Theo Sogbe got us that, and he takes the challenge there of Jacob Stockdale, who hammers him back inside the 10-metre line. It's Hugo Aradou for France, lets it there for Antoine Dupont, moves it into the middle of the field of play, and it's Ireland who pile in now to try and gather this one back here just inside the France 10-metre line. 15 in for the touchline, near side of the pitch now. Antoine Dupont gathers that one now. Again, he's got good hang time on that one, and that ball is going towards this near side of the pitch here. Did the ball I don't know, did the ball actually go into touch on the full, or is that going to be checked? And I think that's exactly what my old pal Gus Gardner is saying to the referee there. That ball was kicked and it went into touch in the full, and it's going to be a line-out throw. The line-out throw will be for Ireland inside the France 10-metre line.
Yeah, but the complete momentum of this game has switched now. Certainly Ireland and the influence they've got off the bench, they look as if they're really putting in those tackles. France no longer getting over the gain line. Ireland look far more positive in possession, playing off the line out here.
Jack Conan won that one in the line out there. Sam Prendergast thumps it up in the air, and they go chasing up after that, and there's a right old battle in the air for that one, and it's a France player who's come away with that one, Antoine Dupont, and it's France who try and run now from inside their own 22-metre line across on the far side of the pitch as they bring it outside the 22, moved into the back division here, and it is taken now, and here comes Theo Atisogbe as he comes forward with this one, and he is hammered into touch on the near side of the pitch here. The referee, or the assistant referee, has got his flag up, and it is going to be a scrum, or a line-out throw rather. A line-out throw is going to be for Ireland there inside the France 10-metre line. We're almost back where we started all over just a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, we are, and France trying to make the impossible happen. Atisogbe, his foot was definitely in touch, and you know, I mentioned I was surprised that Jacob Stockdale initially seemed to be the one who was taken off, because he's actually played very well. His defence has been superb. His ability to put Atisogbe under pressure, that's exactly what he did there, drove him into touch. So again, Ireland with line-out and possession here once more.
And they've won it towards the tail end of the line-out. Ronan Kelleher there. Sam Prendergast with the kick. Good hang time on that one as they go chasing up to try and gather it there. Thomas Ramos actually gathered that, and he's called for the mark inside the 22-metre line, and it was Gary Ringrose, I think, who went chasing up there to try and put pressure on him. He certainly did get the pressure on him, but that didn't prevent him from not winning the ball, and Thomas Ramos now has thumped the ball into touch, and it is going to be a line-out throw, but the line-out throw will be for Ireland, who are gaining ground yards here just outside the France 22-metre line on this near side.
Yeah, but Thomas Ramos, he's just calmness personified. I mean, it was actually a very good kick from Prendergast, good hang time. He was under enormous pressure from Gary Ringrose, but he just makes it look like a Saturday afternoon stroll. He's unbelievable under those high balls.
Ronan Kelleher with the line-out throw for Ireland outside the France 22, near side of the pitch towards the tail end of the line out there. It's gone back as Caelan Darish who's taken that because it was a France finger, tipped it back there. It's now with Tyke Byrne comes forward with this one. Tyke Byrne now inside the France 22-metre line, but the France defensive effort clamps him down. He's been tackled onto the ground on the outskirts of the 22. Back there with Michael Mill, one of the try scorers for Ireland. 29 points to 14. Referee's whistle has gone. He said the ball has been knocked on, and it is going to be a scrum. The scrum will be for France just in the outskirts of their own 22-metre line.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of a mirror image of the first half, that Ireland, you know, having built that momentum, they were under pressure initially from the line-out, but it ended up with a knock on Tadhg Byrne, who's more in the game in the second half than he was in the first. One or two very good turnovers there a minute ago, but unfortunately under pressure, good counter-rucking from the French, he knocked on that ball. So
yeah, it's going to be a scrum. This scrum will be for France. Pierre Mabaka receiving treatment there. It's rather interesting that there's a young lady has gone out onto the pitch with a towel, and she ran down in between the two lots of front rows, almost collided with the referee.
She's a brave young girl, I tell her that.
And she came out the other side and then did a sort of a complete U-turn and came around the back of the France scrum, and is now returned to the side of the pitch, and she's I haven't the faintest idea what she's running around the she's actually got a spare ball, I think, but I should have given her my watch here for to get the steps sorted out, because she's, I'd say, at least after covering 450 steps there, and is now taking up a position kneeling at the side of the field of play. And it is going to be a scrum. The scrum will be for France now, just outside the 22 metre line, 15 in for the touchline. France leading 29 points to 14. A bonus point try for France. 2 tries for Ireland, Nick Timoney and Michael Milne. We have played 69 minutes of the game, 29 to 14, 15 between the teams in the 27th edition of the Six Nations Championship, and it is going to be a scrum. The scrum will be just outside the 22 metre line. The referee is having a chat there now with the respective front rows. A lot of newbies, if I can call them that, there on the field of play right now. And the referee, Carl Dixon, who's, I think, has refereed the game quite well, to be fair about it. And it is Ireland. Well, they've certainly tied it up in the second half. They've conceded 6 penalties in the game so far. I think it was 4 in the first half. France have conceded 3 in the second half of this game. And they've got the scrum feed through their captain, Antoine Dupont, who's making a pretty strong return to international rugby here as he feeds that one in. He's on towards the feet of Anthony Jelonche to gather that one now, and he goes around and gets the kick away, and that ball is it's after skating along the top of the deck here, and it's gone into touch, and it will be a line-out throw. The line-out throw will be for Ireland, but they've been pinged back there by Antoine Dupont, and it's going to be a line-out throw just short of the 10 metre line on this near side of the pitch in the Irish half.
Yeah, it was a beautiful kick from Dupont, but you could see they're just trying to relieve pressure, because Ireland have having been on the back foot almost for the entire first half. They've dominated the territory in the second half, and France just haven't been able to break out.
Well, here's a chance now as they get Jacob Stockdale moving well across to Tommy O'Brien, far side of the pitch there, gets around Louis Biel-Berry, but he's still got the challenge in. Biel-Berry, that is. Ireland have it now in the middle of the field of play, moves it back here now towards Stuart McCluskey, pops it up. There's a chance here now for Sam Prendergast, leaves it out, and there's gone back there now towards Nick Timoney as he tried to bring play towards the halfway line. It's available here as Ireland carry this one now. Hard-working referee playing advantage for Ireland here as they try to gather this one now short of the halfway line in a midfield position. Back at Sam Prendergast, goes chasing up after this one here now, and it is a France player who tried to gather that one on the ground. I think it was Emmanuel Miafou. The referee has called play back, and it's going to be a penalty. The penalty will be for Ireland. It's about a yard or two short of the halfway line, and a good opportunity for Ireland in the 71st minute of this game to try and find a good touch for our side.
Yeah, and I think the pressure that Ireland is exerting, you mentioned the point, incredibly, France went through the opening 40 minutes, didn't concede 1 penalty. 30 minutes into the second half now, they've conceded 3. Ireland once again getting a foothold. They're just outside the 22 here, and the French crowd trying to lift their team. A fabulous rendition of Les Marseillaises. I think a recognition that France probably need a lift, because all in all, Ireland have looked the better side in the second half, having looked to be in an impossible position at half time.
Here's Ronan Keller with the line-out throw outside the 22 metre line far side. They go over the tail end, they win that one. Available for Caelan Doris, moves it back in field. Ireland have it on the 22 metre line, moves it out now. Opportunity here for Jack Conan. He certainly brought a lot of impetus onto the field of play since he came on. Taken by Jemison Gibson Park as he swivels clear. Back with Tadhg Byrne, well inside the 22 metre line. Ireland now with Caelan Doris, has that one, moves it into Conan again. Conan barges his way forward, 5 metres short of the line. Finlay Bealham gathers this one out, comes forward with it. Ireland in a good position here now. Tadhg Byrne moves it away towards Caelan Doris, the team captain, carries that one. Ireland 5 short of the line. Good strong effort here now by the Irish forwards. They power their way forward here with this one. Nick Timoney is involved in this one again. France defensively trying to do some good work here, but it's available here as Ireland now through Jack Conan again gather that one. 5 short of the line, slightly to the left hand side of the post, away to our left hand side, and it's Ireland who power through with this one. Good work by James Ryan. Available here is Ty Byrne, carries this one now. He sort of bypasses everybody and comes along with this one. The ball certainly looks as if it's squirted out on this near side, but it's back with Jamison Gibson Park. Gives it in now towards Jack Conan. Jack Conan probably a little bit sort of upright as he got at that, but it's available here as Ireland take it again now. Ronan Kelleher leaves it there as they come forward with this, and it is Ireland now in possession, 5 short of the French line. They look to try to gather this one. Jamison Gibson Park has a look around, so too is Finlay Beelum as he comes forward with this one now. Jack Conan in to help his forwards here as well. Ireland have it 5 short of the French line. Ty Byrne looks to try to gather this one as Ireland come in search of another try. Back towards Caelan Doris. Good work between Byrne and Doris there on that occasion. And the ball, I thought the ball had been knocked forward there. Referee's whistle has gone. There was an Irish man had actually took control of the ball and touched it down, but everybody had stopped playing, and the referee's blown the whistle and he's called in my old pal Gus Gardner again. Let's have a listen here.
So we need to check whether the ball spilled out and went forward, so I think that's the safest thing to do.
Yeah, on for decision, no one for decision.
Yeah, we're not sure.
Okay, Tempo, Tempo, we'll come up to you. We don't have an on-field decision, we just need to see how the ball came out of that ruck, and then whether the green player was on side.
That's exactly the point that I was making. The ball came out rather awkwardly from the side.
Yeah, it looked an unnatural movement.
Yes. Well, that's what they're going to have a look at. And the referees and assistant referees had a big conference in London last week. And the ball, let's see where the ball came from. Caelan Doris looks to try and get it out.
So Dicko, I look on green and just making sure there's arms in the tackle by blue 16.
So Pierre Mavaca is the French player concerned there. Ian Tempest is the television match official. Let's have a look here. As Caelan Doris looks to put the ball up. I think it could very well have been knocked down by an Irish hand initially, Donald.
Yeah, it is a question of Montagna came in. Did he leave with his shoulder? But I think that happened after the knockdown.
Yeah, the ball then ends up in the arms of Ronan Kelleher, who touched it down for a try. But let's see.
So for me, the arm comes and gets blocked. So Tempo, we have a decision on field. All we've got is a knock on by Green. We've got 16 who's making a legal tackle. So it's just a scrum for a knock on.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought on first viewing. It just takes them far too long to get to these decisions. They have to look at them 4 or 5 different times, and it's fairly obvious from the first viewing what happened. The bottom line is Caelan Doris knocked on the ball before there was any attempt at a tackle by Piotr Mavaca, and Ireland haven't been in a great position. Andy Farrell looks disappointed at the score there. They'd have been within 8, and then you've something to chase in the last 4 or 5 minutes. I thought coming into this game, if Ireland could get out of it with a losing bonus point, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But having been absolutely ripped apart for the first 45 minutes of the game, 2 tries bringing them back into a scenario where they might get a losing bonus, but the clock isn't their friend at the moment. We're just about to clock over into 73 minutes, and you feel France are strong enough to clean their lines. Their scrum has been solid with the changes they've made in the second half, and Dupont, you feel, would just clear his lines here.
Craig Casey onto the pitch. Antoine Dupont gathers that one from the scrum, looks to try and find the safety of touch. The ball bounces and goes into touch. Jack Crowley, well, he didn't have much of a chance to do anything, to be perfectly fair about it. Just watched that ball as it went in, and France are going to bring on the former Bègle Bordeaux scrum half and now Toulon player Baptiste Serran, and that means that Antoine Dupont, their team captain, is going to leave the field of play, and he walks off, and that has been a successful return to international rugby for Le Petit General after 74 minutes.
Yeah, and the crowd have just realised that it's Dupont who's gone off. They stand in unison to clap. His first game for Ireland, or for France, since that game against Ireland in Dublin last year.
And Ireland now look to try and move that one, which they have across far side of the pitch. And again, it is Jacob Stockdale involved well. Prendergast into the middle of the field of play. Sam, that is, towards Caelan Doris, try to bring play there now towards the 10-metre line. That's the Irish one. And Craig Casey looked to try and gather that ball. And it was 3 scrum halves almost getting the top of each other there as the ball is whacked through and bounces inside the 22-metre line, across on the far side of the pitch there, and it's going to be a line-out throw for Ireland, but it's all the way back inside their own 22 on that far side.
Yeah, and it feels as if it's been an age since France were inside that Ireland 22. Baptiste Siron on the field. He's the four-choice French scrum half, and you think about the fact that Lucu, the Bordeaux scrum half, he's out injured. Le Garrec from La Rochelle is out injured, and Siron is an absolutely outstanding player, really experienced, 46 caps behind him. It's just a position with a massive strength and depth.
Line-out throw for Ireland inside their own 22-metre line, far side, 29 points to 14, with just under 5 minutes remaining here at the Stade de France. A throw towards the front of the line-out. France have won that one, and they've taken the Irish line-out there on that occasion. Ireland opting for a shortened one towards the very front of the line-out, and here come France now as they pile their way through. They've mauled Ireland back to within 5 metres of the line, swept out at an opportunity here now as Jalibert moves it in. France come charging with Nicolas Deporter. Deporter is going forward with that one, and the referee says that he was held up there after crossing over the line, so it'll be a goal line dropout. Deporter not happy, but it looks as if it was Sam Prendergast actually was the fellow who got his body in the way there on that occasion.
Well, he was definitely held up, but what an incredible drive and maul from the French. It's almost as if they've found the dial again and just turned up the power.
Well, Sam Prendergast from the restart has kicked the ball directly to Louis Biel-Berry across on that far side. France have it now outside the 22-metre line, and Miafu moves it out, and it's the speed of hand, and all of a sudden Yura Moefana got out of the way. It was Kevin Gourg looked to try and gather that one. That ball has gone into touch on the near side of the pitch here, and it's going to be a line-out throw. The line-out throw will be for Ireland.
Yeah, Ireland done really well just to hold that out again. The French crowd don't like it. They think there was an Irish hand that got in, but it's just the speed of pass, the speed of mind. And Moefana just felt the cover was coming across. He tried to keep the ball alive. Brilliant offload there, but it went off an Irish shoulder. I think went into touch, but referee has given the throw to Ireland. The crowd don't like it.
Ronan Kelleher with the line-out throw, 5 metres short of his own line. Referee's whistle has gone, and there may very well be a direction here from the television match official. And I'll tell you something, you could hardly hear each other.
I can't hear.
Just repeat tempo.
Ian Tempest is having a word there with Carl Dixon. Well, the line-out throw stays for Ireland. They fire it towards the tail end. Tyke Byrne wins that one into the middle of the field of play, taken now by Caelan Doris, the team captain. They come forward with this one. Ireland clamped onto the ground, 5 short of their own line. Back there now with Craig Casey. Garazak kicks it up in the air. They come chasing out to try and gather that one there, and that ball bounces, seemed to go off the hand there of Jacob Stockwell, who's certainly been very prominent, Donald, and very much involved in the second half of this game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. As I said, it looked initially, if he was being the one sacrificed early in the second half, which I was a bit shocked at, it ended up being Tommy O'Brien. But Stockdale has done well, limited opportunity, defended well. He's looked dangerous when he's had the ball in hand. But it's been a funny game. I mean, France were so far ahead of Ireland for so long. Got that try early in the second half from BLBRA to make it 29-0, but haven't scored since. Ireland, to be fair, just pride, whatever it was, brought themselves back into the game. Certainly the value of their bench played a role in that.
Well, Jamison Gibson Park tries to gather that one on the ground across on the far side of the pitch there. And it's not Jack Conan, it's James Ryan. And Jack Conan involved with James Ryan across on that far side there. And a hit on Mathieu Jalibert from James Ryan, and some of the French players taking exception to it there. I think James Ryan was committed to the challenge, to be fair to him.
Yeah, he's in the air. I mean, there was the ball was kicked. Is it gone? I think Ryan is committed. It's a heavy hit, there's no doubt about that. You know, these things happen in a game. I mean, there's split seconds. It looks 10 times worse in slow motion, but the referee has decided, he had left the ground before in time to make the tackle. It looked bad, but nothing we could do about it.
For the first time in my life, I've been given a piece of paper, and I'm going to hand it to Donald. We've been asked to pick the man of the match with everybody else now, mind you. So if you could kind of do it quick before play continues on. The line-out throw taken inside the 22. Jack Conan looks to get at that one. And in fairness to the French, they do everything superbly well. And there's a chance here now. Is going to come away with this, taken out by Gary Ringrose. Looks to Gary it over the 10-metre line. Moves it back inside to Sam Prendergast. Hold onto the ground. Just inside the French half of the pitch here. And France pile through. And it is taken here now by Baptiste Serran. And Serran looked to try and take it. Kicked it up in the air, taken there now by Jemison Gibson Parker to go chasing back after that one. And the ball has been hammered into touch. It's going to be a line-out throw, the line-out throw across on that far side. 78.5 minutes gone. I feel as if I've a part to play in a historic night here.
Yeah, I mean, I've done man of the match of my own on numerous occasions. I've never seen a sheet come along to everyone. Good luck to the fella. There's about 14 different ticks for about 10 different names. But I don't think it's going to make any difference. We know at this stage with less than a minute to go, France are going to come out on top. Ireland aren't going to get the losing bonus point, but I have to say, Ireland, you know, they have some bit of semblance. They've taken something out of the game by their second half fight back, but they'll regret the passive nature of that opening half when really the game was over at half time.
And France now look to try and gather that and bring it towards the 22. Across on the far side of the pitch, Tyke Byrne is there, and he's told to get his hands off the ball by the referee. Taken by Baptiste Serran. Moves it back in field. Ireland have to reset. They're inside their own 22-metre line. Moved out on the near side of the pitch here. Taken by Mathieu Jalibert. And France come through with that one. 15 in for the touchline. Near side of the pitch here now. Baptiste Serran goes in to try and gather that one now. And will sweep it away to the left-hand side. And again, it's France who have control of this now. And they have it inside the 22 as they come in search of a score, coming towards the tail end of this ground. And here comes the firepower on the wing, and the firepower on the wing is the French winger Théo Atisogbe, and he has got in for the try, and that will certainly cement what has been a tremendous performance by France as they get in for their 5th try of the game.
Yeah, it was, as I said, a strange game. I mean, they finished it as it started, a try by one of the wingers, even though it was Atisogbe at this stage. The Irish players just regrouping behind the post. They'll be shattered with that try, given the way they fought back, gave everything in the second half. But it's you look at the scoreboard in 2 years' time, and you're going to see at least a 20-point win with a conversion to come. And knowing Tama Ramos, even though the ball is within about 6 inches of the touchline, it wouldn't surprise me if he slotted this. But it's a worst-case scenario, a 20-point defeat, which is a really disappointing way to open your Six Nations.
Toma Ramos with the conversion opportunity, and he's launched this one. It has gone towards the post, has gone straight between the posts, and the match referee Carl Dixon of England, the former Harlequin scrum half, has blown the full-time whistle at the Stade de France. It was 22-0 at half-time, with 3 tries on the board in the opening 40 minutes of this game for France. Louis Biel-Berry with the 4th try, a bonus point try for them after 47 minutes, and then 2 tries for Ireland within the space of 3 minutes. Nick Timoney and Michael Milne gave Ireland some hope, but then it was Théo Atisogbe with the 5th try of the game for France. 7 tries in total. Thomas Ramos with the conversion, and it is France who have run out deserved winners here by 36 points to 14.
Yeah, no doubt they were deserved winners in a strange game. At times France looked unbeatable. They played mesmeric rugby. The ability of their backs to just find space, the skill level under pressure, their ability to eke out yards after the contact was superb. But then they fell away. You have to acknowledge the fact that Ireland's bench made a big impact. 2 tries out of nothing. For a moment we were allowed hope. That try in the end has killed that hope. But the bottom line, when they wake up in the morning, it's a 22-point defeat, and it's going to feel pretty sore. Very hard to recover from that.
Victory for France in the Stade de France, a bonus point victory, and a fully deserved victory for France here. Game 1 of this Six Nations Championship season 27 is finished. It's resulted in a victory for France over Ireland by 36 points to 14.
Michael Donal, thank you. So, a sobering night for Ireland in Paris. 36 points to 14, a 22-point defeat for us to reflect on with Devin Toner, Lindsay Peat and Fiona Coughlin. Devin, I think there was a period in that second half where we felt like Ireland were pulling themselves into the game, like maybe they were showing us something. It's those little glimmers of hope that'll Irish fans might cling to tonight, but ultimately a 22-point defeat is sobering, to say the least.
Look, ultimately, yes, I think it is kind of concerning for Ireland of how we started that game and how we kind of started the Six Nations. I suppose it's never where you want to start with a defeat like that. There was some positive things in the second half. As I said, like I think the attitude was much better in the second half. There was a little bit of grip behind them. I think the bench came on, it did really well. There's a bit of physicality about them, but just overall, as I said before, it is kind of concerning how we didn't come out of the blocks quick in the first half, really, and it's something that was really going to have to be addressed.
Are France 22 points better than us, Fiona?
Yeah, tonight they certainly were. I think they were. Even we talk about the second half and the impact the subs made, but France started the second half better, scoring that try. They finished that half better as well. So yeah, I think they were, and I think their full value of that. I thought their first half performance was absolutely outstanding. They didn't give Ireland a chance at all, and Ireland need to be concerned about. But I thought their set piece for the most part was good, but in terms of their attack and defence, they have a lot to work on.
I guess that's probably, let's take that as our base point then, Lindsay. Where's the biggest concerns for you after that performance tonight?
We're just void of ideas. Do you know, you could, on either side of the ball, you can't say, well, at least Ireland came out and they were absolutely smashing French jerseys behind the gain line in defence and kind of basing their attack off that, nor were they trying anything in attack that was kind of a foundation to build their defence on. So I'd probably start with defence, to be honest. And at least like you build from that, like, but in attack wise, like we said at half time, Jackie, we wanted the forwards to take more responsibility. They did. They got us gain line. The set piece came into play and had a bigger impact. And I think Ireland need to go back to that rather than this kicking game. Now they'll get away with it with the likes of Italy's and probably Wales as building in transition. But against a French team who love to play this open style of rugby and will kill you in open field, we just can't play that style right now. Not with the players we had available and maybe a mixed bag of inexperience, but like there is a glimmer of hope. I think Michael Milne deserves it. You know, that's his third cap he came on, and I thought, you know, just gave a bit of pep and step, gave energy. I think James Ryan came in as well. We called for him to be that leader in physicality, but right now there was no facet of the game, like we said, that stood out, and I think they need to. We can't fix everything all at once, but I think the defensive line for me, and that's going to reduce the kicking because it has an impact on how we set up our D.
What would you do on that, Devon?
You're asking the wrong person.
I know, the three of you sitting in here, where's the three forwards going to sort it out? Yeah,
I can talk about lineouts. Look, it's a hard thing to do. Obviously, the coaches are it's ultimately up to them, and I think, but just like as a whole, we kind of looked a bit rudderless. We didn't really know what it didn't look like we knew what we were doing. We obviously had a plan. I don't know, did they stick to that plan or was it just the wrong plan? And we don't know. Like, it's kind of hard being on the outside and not knowing what's going on. So it's obviously just one thing we just need to kind of get right.
We do hear, Fiona, that there's obviously a different style in what Leinster are trying to do and what Ireland are trying to do, and sometimes it does look like, I don't know, maybe there's a defensive lapse. Is it that the system isn't working? Is it that the players are too used to playing one way and they're not adapting, or what do you put that down to?
I think if you look at the French team, they've come from so many different clubs that have different styles of playing, and then when you get into the national team, you change the way that they want to play, so you have to be that adaptable. Yeah, they don't have a huge amount of time together, but every team suffers that in terms of, there's loads coming from Leinster and they play one way, but once they get up to national camp, they have to be able to adapt and change their way to whatever way Ireland want to play, and clearly that hasn't happened. But it's not just the Leinster players. I just think the lack of accuracy that we would have always said the Irish team would have had in attack was not there at all. The lack of energy, and that energy piece has to come from the players. Like, they have to drive that. In terms of game plan, like the kicking game, it looked like in the first half we didn't have a plan B. We didn't know where to go, and thankfully there was a slight change in the second half.
But that looked quite different then in the second half.
Well, we still kicked at times when it wasn't really on, or that we weren't getting the ball back. We high contestables, but France had that sewn up, and they capitalised off it then as well. So yes, there's definitely place for kicking. France kicked the ball hugely as well, but they vary it up. It's that little chip over the top, it's the little grubber, it's Ramos's little touch off the outside of his boot, and we're just very much like that high hanging ball and try and get people under to try and reclaim it back, and we didn't.
Sometimes though, when it's your night, it's your night. Like that one that Ramos tries, that kick that he puts through off the outside of his boot. Like there are children all over Ireland who are trying to execute those kind of moves, Lindsay, and they'll never do it in a month.
I know, but imagine being poor Sam Prendergast now in the post-match review, and they bring up a clip of this is what you tried and this is how you do it. You know what I mean? And it was their night, but I think on the back of that, right, Fiona's made a great point. We had this game plan that didn't work. We didn't deviate. But if you look at the kicks that France made choice of, they were the right kicks to put them in the right areas of the pitch. And I think Mike Corcoran said that we controlled the territory in the second half, but we didn't build on it. And I think if we can adapt our kicks to put us in, how do you get from quarter one to quarter two and get ourselves up the pitch to put us in good position to now be far superior, that'll be a difference. But on the flip side, and to come back onto the D, the style that Lens play and probably what Ireland play, it all bases on you winning the game on in your first up tackles. If you do not do that, which we didn't, and you have to give France credit of their ruck speed. If you're trying to challenge for the ball or they're winning the gain line and then their ruck speed is so quick, you are always on the back foot. You're never going to set that defensive line up. And France killed us for that. So we can say the defensive line was poor, but there's all these different areas that actually impact that.
But weren't we were known for that though. We were good at that.
Just when it comes to the defence, though, with the negatives around defence, when you're talking about like Lens players going in and use new system, what I saw was it wasn't really negatives in the systems; it was individual errors.
Okay.
And it all came from little kick throughs like 50-50s that we lost, and there was a missed tackle here and missed tackle there. But I think France didn't get much into the game of first phase defence. Our first phase defence and kind of stuff was actually not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of the individual errors and stuff. So like the actual system was actually not too bad. Like.
So do you know when you played in this Irish team, Devin, and albeit I understand different coaching staff, different individuals and all that, but even under Joe Schmidt in the glory days of Irish rugby, the error count was very small, the discipline was exceptional, and the ruck speed of Ireland we were notorious for it. So how in the space of this amount of time are all of those things suddenly creeping into an Irish game when they would have been just unheard of? Like that amount of errors on an Irish team would just have been unacceptable at a time.
Yeah, it's hard to say why or what has happened. As you said, that is one thing that was bred into us, like just to literally hold on to the ball. Maybe they're given a bit too much free rein to be able to try and do an offload or trying to be a bit more flamboyant, I don't know, but we were obviously never allowed to do that. But
now, was that you or the team?
Oh, it was everyone. I would have.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
I would have been sniming out the back.
You should have seen me.
Oh, yeah. But no, look, it's hard to pinpoint what they might have probably deviated and not put as much focus as they should have now. But then, Faz was still in the coaching setup, so he would have been nailing the home too. So as I said, it's hard to nail why they're not doing it anymore.
Like we won a Grand Slam 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, I'm not sounding the death knell, and I'm really genuinely not trying to be like that. I do just wonder when you see those things happening though, is that the sign of a team who maybe are just not functioning at that level right now?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of variables in it. Obviously we don't have a 10 who's nailed it, like Jack Crowley was there for the Grand Slam, then Prendergast comes in, then it's ebbing and flowing, then the conversation about it, we don't really have a 10 that's playing with confidence, I don't think. The pack as well, yeah, you can talk about injuries, but I just don't think they impose themselves, even the experienced players in that squad. I don't think they took control of that game at all, and that would concern me. Caelan Doris, Josh Van der Fleer, players that have so much experience that they didn't take control of it either. And, it's not putting it all back on the 10, like the ball that they're given wasn't always good either. So there's a couple of variables in it.
Just on the 10 then, let's get stuck into that, Lindsay, because I'm sure after tonight the debate is going to continue. What does he do? We've obviously got a game against Italy coming up. There'll be shouts for Crowley, there'll be shouts for Byrne, there'll be shouts for Prendergast to continue. If you're Andy Farrell now, how does he move forward, saying, is this next game almost a free shot to try somebody else, or is it a time to double down on Sam Prendergast and build that confidence that Fiona's talking about?
I think he has to stick with Sam Prendergast. I think it's not going to be easy watching for him, but he seems a guy who's very capable of taking... Look, he's not going to get any better learnings than from tonight, and the learnings will be good if he can build on them against Italy, and we can see improvements in that. It's harsh watching, but unfortunately the best life lessons are the ones where unfortunately you're stripped back and you're very raw in those video sessions, and we've all been there, and they're not nice, but they are the best learnings. They're the best way to learn. So he'll have loads to work on, loads of videos. What can you do better? And he'll stand back and do that. And as I said, hopefully he'll take that in. I do need to give him a shout out because, you know, I hope people saw that he was involved in the Timoney try, and we said this. He brought it to the gain line. He drew into French defenders. He pops it off to Stuart McCluskey, who really got impetus and a bit of gusto in him, and he really made an impact. And then Timoney comes off his shoulder, and that's the Ireland we see. So we just didn't see enough of that. So if we can get a bit more of that, and as I said, the choice of kicks are a bit better when we've done the groundwork and drawn players in and we can see the space. So I think if we can combine the forward taking responsibility and then kicking when we've kind of, it's so cliche and it's so overused, but the right to make those really flamboyant choices, like his turnover as well. Do we need that in a game where we're clawing back in? Probably not, but if you gave it a bit more airtime, then he's going to be hailed as an absolute genius. So look, there's a huge amount of skill there. We just need to fine tune this young man into making the mature decisions which we're expecting well beyond his years. So it's going to be an up and down roller coaster ride for this lad, but they see something in him, and I do too. He's as frustrating as he is brilliant right now, but that's a young head on.
But that's obvious. We can all see the talent, Devin, can't we?
Yeah, like it was hard for him in the first half because the forwards weren't giving him front football either. Do you know, they weren't taking it by the scruff of the neck, and they weren't and were carrying it good, I suppose. And I don't think we're going to see many changes for the next game. I think Faz are going to double down and probably stick maybe in the same team. And then Italy obviously aren't going to pose the same challenge that France did, so he might be able to run with the ball a bit more and get a bit more confidence in him. As you know, if he gets the momentum against Italy, we could obviously see a good few tries there. But I think he's going to double down and stick with Sam, because I think obviously the forwards are going to get a bit more over the gain line and be able to give him a better ball.
There's two schools of thought on it, Fiona. One is it's Italy, who always get disrespected in this competition, however we go about it, which is one to say you can make some changes and give somebody like a Jack Crowley or Harry Byrne minutes in the jersey to have their stake at the claim, or exactly what the guys are saying here, where you double down, you give Sam more time, maybe in a game where he's actually going to ultimately dictate the pace, and that's another learning.
Yeah, well, we got a win against Italy last year, but we weren't overly convincing on that final day. Yeah, I think he'll have a map out on the Six Nations of what he wants to get from it and how much time he wants to give players, and hopefully we'll see a few new players in as well. But he's been very loyal to players, and he'll give them an opportunity to try and pay back and bounce back from where they were tonight. And you know, he's a young player that needs to be supported, and Devin said it, the forwards didn't give him quality ball. And we talk about the 10s, there's other players that we could talk about as well, you know, should they be in or not? You know, it's always a focus on the poor out halves.
Yeah. Where do you think the big shouts are then? Because I think there are going to be some big winners from tonight. You know, you guys have touched on the bench impact was massive. So give me your sort of a sense of where you think those big decisions for Andy Farrell might come in the next week.
I suppose it depends. Do you want that impact from your bench again? Or if you're going to move lads that were starting onto the bench, will they then give you that impact because they want to try and get back in again? And that's a tough one to balance. I think South Africa do it the best, you know, the way that they use their bench, and it doesn't matter if you're starting or you're finishing the game, it's still that same hunger. And I just don't know if we have got to that point yet. So you could look at some of the back row. I thought Timoney was excellent when he came on. Jack Conan, huge ball carries as well when he came on. I thought the starting front row did well, to be honest, in set piece. Yeah, Milne made a difference when he came on in terms of those carries and scoring his try. But yeah, the back row could be interesting, but I'd say he'll be loyal to them.
Yeah,
I hate to say it as well, but I don't know, did Josh Van der Fleer put his hand up for next week either? I think Timoney came on and he played savage. He's been playing brilliant for Ulster all year as well. I think Tadhg Furlong might be back next week, so he'll get a few minutes. But even though Tom Clarkson played actually really well and the scrum was solid as well, I think he'll probably stick with Lockman as well. He might give Ronan Kelleher a go at hooker. But other than that, I think we're not going to probably see much changes, I would say.
Go on, Lindsay. Sorry, you were going to come in there.
No, I'd probably have James Ryan starting in the second row.
For who?
I don't know. I don't think McCarthy made the impact we needed him to. You know, he is indisciplined. You know, in the 22 when we were really under the cosh, you know, France are dragging us around, you know, plotting holes. We just needed him to get into the defence line and make a big hit.
You could put Tig at 6 because Keane Prendergast didn't really put his hand up. Really.
I felt sorry for him. He's been such a leader with Connacht, and he probably just, unfortunately, it was a bad night for him to show what he could do. He made a difference in the November internationals when he came on, and you know, I presume he's training that way, and that was why he warranted a selection. But no, he didn't show what he's been shown in November and this season with Connacht.
It's a difficult one for Andy Farrell with that in mind, because as you said, Lindsay, you've got players in Ulster who are, you know, playing brilliantly well. You want to give them a chance. Similar situation in November when you had players like Cian Prendergast coming off the bench. Andy Farrell has the now and he has the next year to look at. So in a way, the Cian Prendergast, the Tommy O'Briens, maybe the Jacob Stockdales being reinvigorated, this is his time to actually find out, what am I going to know about these players for 18 months down the line when I've got a World Cup as well? Like, there are wider decisions for him to start making about nailing down some of these positions as well.
Yeah, and I think just on the back of, you know, not changes, like it's been a humbling defeat tonight. So, you know, players, like we're all athletes in this room, like you do feel you don't need to be compounded by outside noise, or even, you know, he'll be conscious that how players are feeling after that performance. So I think there'll be an intrinsic motivation to be much better next week, and I don't think Andy Farrell needs to be starting scalping people either. But I think I am concerned about World Cup, but you know, time is going, and we probably haven't had a lot of, you know, fresh blood. Like, yes, we had a few new changes, but were they forced? It'd be interesting to see what the selection would be if everyone was available. So this was never going to be our championship, and we've seen that down the line. Sometimes the year before, you know, 2 years out from a World Cup, you could have someone, you know, heading towards a wooden spoon, and then all of a sudden they're one of the big guns going into a World Cup. So yeah, it'd be nice to give other players a chance again to see what these young men can do and step up.
That being said, it does feel like Fiona mentioned it a minute ago, Devin, you know, we were Grand Slam champions 2 years ago. That does suddenly feel quite far away based on the performance tonight. Yes, I know it's only one night. 23. Yeah. 3 years ago now. We're in 2026 now. We're all welcome.
Are you PE and maths, are you? I thought I was stuck in 2025.
I think we're all feeling like we're stuck in a crazy world with all the weather that's going on at the moment. Okay, hang on. Let me come back to that in just one moment, because we're getting some reaction from Paris. Claire McNamara is with Josh van der Fleer.
A tough night ultimately at the Stade de France. I mean, I suppose you were really blown away in the first half, but did stage somewhat of a fight half in that second.
Yeah, it was disappointing. They had a very, very good first half. We were probably slightly off it. Could have worked a bit quicker earlier, maybe something like that, but we'll have a good review of it. But yeah, it was disappointing first half. A lot better in the second half. But still, yeah, you can't give them those kind of opportunities. You probably stood off them a bit, and they're too good a team to do that against. So yeah, credit to them. They played very well, and we'll have to be a lot better.
Yeah, we saw how lethal they can be. Can you pinpoint what was off in that first half?
It's very hard to know. I suppose we'll have a good look at it, and I'll know in a couple of days. But I bet we probably, first impression was we probably sat off them a little bit on the first half. Could have gone after them a bit more, showed them a bit too much respect, and when they weren't under that much pressure from our defence, then just gave them opportunities in their attack, and they exploited them pretty well. Some lovely kicks from them, and they worked pretty hard chasing through on the kicks and got a few tries out of it. So yeah, a few things to work on.
Will you take heart from that good spell in the second half, but ultimately there was just too much of a gap to close?
Yeah, I mean there was a few good bits in there. The bench were really good. I thought the impact was very, very good from the lads. So that was good to see. But I suppose as lads starting the game, we have to do a bit better than that first half. But credit to the lads, came off the bench, worked really hard and put up a good fight at the end. But it was a bit too late.
And what about picking it up now for next week?
Yeah, we'll get back to Ireland now and review that, and we'll have to move on pretty quickly, take the lessons from it, as we always say, and then just build the energy for another big game next week. So we're up against it now, but we'll have to be at our best from now on, really.
Yeah, Josh van der Fleer, I think like all of us, Devin, not quite able to put his finger on what went wrong there.
No, he's not. It's kind of hard when you're thrust into those interviews straight after a game as well. Like he's never going to give.
All been there.
He's never going to give much away. But like he said, well, they're just going to have to regroup. It's going to be a hard video session when they get back on Monday or Sunday probably, and they're going to have to just knuckle down. And but when it comes down to it, it's the main thing was the aerial battle tonight. I think. Do you know, we didn't win any of the 50-50s. We didn't.
But we picked a team that we wanted to compete. Tommy O'Brien, Jacob Stockdale, like these are all big, tall players compared to those French wingers. It was clearly that was the plan.
Well, England did them to them last year.
Yeah.
They targeted Biel's wing with just like crossfield kicks, but again they kind of drew in the D and then they were able to pick out the space. So like it was a great game plan, but we just kind of lobbed it and hoped, didn't we? Like I think other than
are we underestimating the loss of Hugo Keenan in that, who covers the backfield incredibly well and is probably one of the best people in the air there? Maybe that's everybody's talking about everything else we're missing, but maybe it is Keenan. I don't know.
You're always going to miss a player with the calibre of Hugo, no matter what team is playing. So yes, because he is obviously very confident under the ball. So you are going to miss that. But like it's up to the other players to step up and do it as well, though. You know, and I think a lot of the times when we were kicking, we were on the back foot as well. When you watch France, they were always on the front foot and they were always kind of confident in where they were kicking it, what they were doing. We just weren't kind of really confident when we were kicking it.
Because even the game against Australia in November, we kicked the ball even more than any of the other games in November. We kicked really well, but Mac Hansen that night was the one who was brilliant in the air, really good in broken play, and the personnel changes have been significant from then to now as well.
Yeah, we're probably missing Mac as well, to be honest, because in that Australia game, like he was only back from injury and he was like the French tonight. Everything bounced his way, everything went in his arms. So yeah, I still think we're such an experienced team, both from a management point and a player personnel, that it's there in us. I just think we didn't go, and Josh Van Vliet said it there, we showed them too much respect. You know, are you going up challenging for this ball thinking you're going to win it, or are you just going up to put a bit of effort in that you know, from an outside view? So we're well able to play whatever game we want. We've huge athletes there. We're talking about France and how skillful. We're laden with the same, you know, calibre of athletes. It's just we have to figure out what style of play we want to play to be superior than other teams. So no, I think it was just unfortunately an off night and nothing went our way, including the area battle.
How confident? Go on, sorry, you go first.
No,
and then I'll
just
ask
with
you.
a kicking game, and Devin said it there. It was, we weren't kicking on the front foot, but we were almost sometimes slowing the ball down to make sure that we had people in position to make sure they could chase. But then France were set and ready in position for it as well. So like I think we just need to, obviously there's times when it's right to do that, but we just seem to do it every single time that we were kicking those Gary Owen balls up. And yeah, sometimes I just would like a bit more energy around that and our kicking game.
The point that Lindsay just made, she said it was a bad night, right? So my question to you, Fiona, what I was going to ask you there is, how confident are you that is the case and it's not a wider issue, which is going back to last Six Nations, which we were really outplayed against France, and a 15-point defeat probably flattered us. A difficult November, and now an opening Six Nations game where I just wonder, is there more of a pattern there?
Yeah, I think there is. I think if you look back to last year as well, the Welsh game, we didn't get that bonus point try. The Italian game, which I spoke about, that I think Italian rugby has been on the up for the last number of years, but I just don't think that Ireland imposed themselves at all. And then the autumn games weren't overly convincing. That Japan game wasn't great at all. The New Zealand game clearly wasn't. Australia had a bit of spark into it, and now we're after getting a hammering by France again. So yeah, I don't want to be doom and gloom, because I do think there's huge talent in this Irish rugby team. It's just that they just don't seem to be all on the same page with the same energy at the same time.
But is the game, do we need to change our game plan, or do we need to change our players? Like, what are we shaking up here if there is a pattern? Because we're running out of time now to unearth what has been a golden era for Irish rugby. But surely with all the schools and our under-20s haven't done, like if you look at all the players that they've come through that system, but we didn't have a great under-20s championship last year at all. No one really shone. It was poor. So I suppose that is the question. How do we fix it if there is a pattern? Because we're talking about players coming through, but there's obviously issues there with the style of play.
All right, well, let's hear more from the Irish camp then. Claire McNamara has Tadhg Byrne with her.
Ty, can you sum up for us how you're feeling after that?
Yeah, obviously going to be very disappointed, particularly by the scoreline. I don't think we turned up the way we said we were going to turn up in that first half, and you just see how good France are. Any kind of breaking ball and their bounce, and we're standing underneath their sticks. And happened a couple of times, the bounce of the ball didn't go our way, and all of a sudden we were regrouping underneath the sticks. I thought we came out in the second half, showed a bit more what we can do, and we'll have to take the positive from that. And Six Nations not gone yet. Obviously, it's in France's hands now for sure, but we'll have to bounce back next week for sure.
Let's talk to us about that first half. Was France totally dominated? We just couldn't get a foothold in the game.
Yeah, we just just things weren't going our way in terms of they won the aerial battle from minute one, I think. Physically they were probably out physical us for the most part in that first half as well, and once they get momentum, that's what they're world class at. They're hard to stop, and that's where we struggled, and that's exactly why that was the story of the first half, and I think that's why we went in with such a deficit.
There was a decent spell in that second half, but ultimately big defeat. Where do Ireland go from here now? Is it further slip back in your form?
Yeah, look, we're going to have to look inward for sure and figure out where we need to get better, because we all know how dangerous Italy are as well. So next week's going to be a huge challenge for us, and we'll have to dust ourselves off quickly and figure out where we have to improve, and make sure we do that next week.
How tough will that be? Do you think confidence will be really dented?
No, look, we are a confident team. We know how good we can be. We're playing a world class team here, and they set the standard. We've been there before, and we just need to keep building our performances, and as I said, our confidence will build with those performances.
Thanks, Ty.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, Tadhg Beirne, again, much like Josh van der Flier, who we heard from earlier, just not quite sure what to say. What he said there, Lindsay, is we know how good we can be. I guess the killer question in all of it is, how do they actually play like that and not what we saw tonight?
They do the review, they're hard watches. They go back, as I said, it's an intrinsic motivation now to put the pride back in that jersey, not disrespect Italy next week, and show themselves. Really, it starts with forget about the outside noise and the rest of us, because it's about them now to bounce back against Italy.
So where do they go then, Devin? As you said, you think he's going to basically double down with this team, try to build confidence. What does the week look like for this Irish team?
Well, it's the hard video session on Monday or Sunday or Monday, and I'd say there'd be one or two hard pitch sessions as well, because the attitude, the physicality in that first half just wasn't up to scratch. I think he probably will double down and stick with the same team in and about, and I think, as I said, it's just about that attitude in the first half. They're going to have to come out firing in the first half, and as Tadhg said, he knows there's world-class players in that team, and because they've proven it time and time again. So it's just a fact of nailing down that attitude and being able to be physical.
For some of them, though, Fiona, it feels like the time is now to reprove themselves, but maybe not just to people around them, but to the rest of the world, that Ireland actually still have what it takes to get to this level.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very tough week, mentally, physically, and then to have the energy to pick yourself back up and go again next weekend. It'll be interesting to me next weekend whether they go as kick heavy with those aerial bombardments, or that we see more variety, or when they get into, like there was one time in the 22 when they just had to grubber through for no reason. Just that kind of clarity in what they're trying to do. And I think there's a lot of variables at play here, and players need to take a certain amount of responsibility for the lack of energy in that first half. I don't know how tough their training camp was out in Portugal, but they should have been coming into their first international Six Nations fresh, and they just didn't seem to bring any energy.
You were full of the joys of spring earlier this evening, Lindsay, when you felt like there was a chance for Ireland. Do you still think there's a chance for them to win this championship?
An outside chance, but it's not beyond their reason. It depends how the fixes are from this game, Jackie. I mean, we couldn't have got a harsher slap of reality tonight, let's be honest. I know we're bombarding the kicking game, but it does have such an impact, like Devin said, on the defence, then attack, and giving teams like that the opportunity. I think if we can again just combine and just bring it back down to the simple fundamentals of rugby, and And that'll impact the confidence of the players and that belief, and then they can build on that. So it's starting slow. You can't slow the ball down to kick it. You can't let teams set. And I just think variety in that. Build momentum, get the gain on, and then start grubber kicking or into space or crossfield kicking. Like we saw a glimpse to Tommy O'Brien with a crossfield kick when there was space. So if we can just have a consistency of all those positives and reduce the indiscipline, the absolute unforced turnovers killed us. They just killed us. You have to look after the ball. Like, possession is key. So, yes, I think it's within them. But it's in their hands now, and I think it starts with next week. Yeah. Especially then with England the week after. Not an easy feat to
Right, brief last word. Go
One
on.
thing we just didn't see, we didn't see much attack. Do you know what I mean? 5-6 years ago, there was a lot of set piece plays that we can obviously see the attack, see 3 phases, 4 phases. Didn't see any of that tonight. So hopefully against Italy, we'll be able to obviously go off the tops from lineups and see some actually set
and no
piece
trick plays. No trick plays to put the defence under. Like, we were synonymous with that. Like, what are they going to do this week?
I'll let the 3 coaches off to figure that one out for
We're
the
going to
rest
bar
of the night. Fiona, Lindsay, Devon, really enjoyed your company tonight. Thanks so much for being with us. Ireland's Six Nations campaign has got off to a nightmare start at 36 points to 14 defeat in Paris. We're all out of time here on Inside Sport. Coming up next, though, Carl Murray will keep you entertained. I promise you he's going to be much more positive than we have been tonight. Late Date is on the way. Don't go anywhere.
The Guinness Six Nations, France versus Ireland on RTE Radio 1 and the RTE Radio Player app.